A very good evening and welcome to the Kobe Universiade Memorial Stadium. It is day 3. It is the evening session at the Kobe 2024 Para-Athletics World Championships. $5 p.m. in the afternoon, just about local time. And it is almost time to get those umbrellas up and raincoats on. It's been much cooler over the course of the last 24 hours. It does drop during the evening. Well, let's have a look at what we've got coming up. Tian Yuan looking to add to her 5,000 metres gold when she goes in the women's 800 metres T54. Wally Katila, can he hope to bounce back after a 4th place last year in Paris? That's the men's 400 metres T34. Roderick Townsend defending his men's high jump T47 medal from last year. He went in the long jump yesterday, withdrew with a couple of rounds to go. But as far as we know, he will be going. And then later on is Leon Schaefer defending his world record in gold from last year in Paris. Chiara Rodriguez in the women's 100 metres T47. Darren Jimenez up against Luca Eckler in the second last race of the evening, the T38 and the T35 women's 200. Zhu Jia, the world and Paralympic champion and world record holder, will go in that one. So loads to look forward to. Despite the weather, it's set fair to be a wonderful evening. Just a hint there of the rain that was falling during the day. It has calmed down a little bit. It was raining much heavier earlier on, and it did affect somewhat the field events when it came to the discus and shot put especially. 16 degrees, yeah, light rain. Hasn't been overly exuberant on that front. But we do hope for an evening that whatever happens tonight and it does rain, then the forecast for the next few days is supposed to be much better. So we can deal with perhaps one session or one and a bit session with a little bit of rain. We're hardy people. I say that sitting in a stand under a roof. For those out there watching on, they don't mind. The kids have been loving it. We've had school children in, baseball teams, other sporting teams who have been filling out this wonderful stadium. 36,000 it holds. Opened for the World University Games back in 1985, and well, it's quite a venue for not just para-athletics and athletics, also for football, soccer, whichever you want to call it. The Kobe Steelers have played rugby here as well. A multi-purpose venue which has, over the course of the last 3 days, provided us with world records, championship records, season and lifetime bests as well. And despite a few athletes missing ahead of the Paralympics later in the year, there is a very solid field across the entirety of this one. We have a field event to get us underway. It'll be the women's Javelin throw F34. That's a seated event. And we're not waiting too long until we get onto the track either. The first track event, the women's 800 metres T53 final, getting underway at 5:05 local time. Steph Reed, the former world and European champion, is alongside me. Will Downing isn't here this evening, unfortunately. We'll say hello to Will because he's got a bit of a voice issue at the moment, so hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow in fine fettle. Day 3, the evening session. Good evening, Steph. What are you looking forward to?
Well, in the field, we have 2 reigning champions who are going for their 5th title. Yes, all the way back to 2015. We have Zhou of China looking for her 5th title in the women's javelin throw F34. And you already mentioned him, Roderick Townsend, also looking for his 5th title. Now, I was also, like you, looking to see if there might be a DNS on the high jump start list. We haven't seen it yet because he did retire early, but hopefully that was just a precaution for his favorite event. Yeah,
fingers crossed for Roderick, because he's always good value and he always provides the crowd with a bit of enjoyment and gets them involved in the competition, and that's what we want. Characters who not only compete and do really well and win, but also get the crowd involved, because they've been, you know, splendid in these first couple of days or so and really getting into it. There's been crowds here in the thousands over the first couple of days, and despite the weather, they've turned up again this evening, mostly undercover. Not too many people braving the elements further out, but that's to be expected. You don't want to sit there in the wet all night. You want to keep yourself undercover. There's umbrellas aplenty, and people keeping themselves dry by any manner whatsoever. Aye, aye, skipper.
The fans have been very prepared here, haven't they? You said at the beginning it was a little bit gloomy, but I have to say the only gloomy weather is the weather you haven't dressed for. We have several nations that are here competing that will be very used to dealing with the rain. But as I came in, there were a few fans who still wanted their front row positions. They had a towel with them. They wiped down their seat, opened up their umbrellas, and had their picnic ready to go.
Let's be honest as well, we have blankets. We've been given blankets. So I don't want to pull any punches and say that we are cold up here, because we're actually fine. Steph Reed has a blanket on her at the moment. I haven't gone that far yet, but I probably will get there at some point in the near future. Women's Javelin Throw F34. We're going to get underway very shortly. Now, this is the seated event, of course. Those are just practice throws at the moment. And with the seated event, it means that it does take a little bit longer, because the athletes take all 6 throws before the next athlete comes in, and there is a slight gap in the middle of a minute or so that the athletes are afforded to reposition themselves and have a drink. Now, tonight, I suspect they will all be taking that full minute or so, because with these conditions and with a bit of a slippery surface and any water getting onto those seats, then you may well slip a little bit. And an area which I know you love talking about, the butt judge in this particular event, in the seated event, whether it be javelin, shot put, discus, whatever, you want to make sure that you aren't fouling by lifting your backside up.
You know, just to clarify, it's not that I love talking about the butt judge. It is just a fact that it is a very important technical official in this event. It is a seated throw, and as such, it's very important that the athletes pay attention to how they're strapped in. There is a judge that watches. There can be no movement from the lower body.
Well, there are 3 Chinese athletes set to go in this one. The biggest name of all there, Zhu Liuan. She's a 7-time World Championship winner and a 4-time gold medalist in the Paralympics as well, down there at number 9. She won the gold record, the gold medal, I should say, last year in Paris, 20.74 meters. She obliterated the field then, and you would expect that she's going to be one of the raging hot favourites to win this as well. A host of others who did compete last year in Paris as well. But Zhu there will certainly start as the favourite to win this and make it yet another world title. That will be 8 in total. So they're all getting together, and good to see a bit of laughter there. There's a few of them under the cover, and the rest, unfortunately, are out there in the rain. So I suspect they're going to try and keep this as quick as possible and let everyone just get themselves under that shelter and keep themselves in a dry position, because you don't want to be sitting out there and getting wet and have to sit there for a couple of hours, because that will be no fun whatsoever. Wrap up, keep yourself warm, and await your turn to get out there. So Zhu Liuan, first to be introduced to the crowd. Lifetime best of 22.28. That is a F34 world record. It was set in the Paralympics back in 2021. Benjamin, who was 5th back in 2023. The 28-year-old Zhu Liuan of China, the 2nd of the Chinese to go. 7th last year. Al Kasui of Morocco, the 3rd of the 3 Chinese to go. Quan Zhao, she was 6th. Amaudi Saida, who also competed in Paris last year. And then we have the 23-year-old youngster, Charlene Koch,
Representing Algeria.
Lifetime best of 15:38 for her. Asmahan Boujada of Algeria.
Representing NPA.
And last but not least, the neutral para-athlete who's already in position and ready to go, Elena Oliver.
Javelin F34 final.
So a field of 9. And it will be Zhu who will be last to go, but well, they'll be keeping themselves nice and dry, you would expect, in the meantime. And this is going to be hard, isn't it, this field event in these rainy conditions?
This will be challenging. You get a great shot there of all of those fingers taped. I do wonder if that is to help with that grip. So important how the athlete releases the javelin.
Now, I know that you these are practice throws, by the way, here, so you're not missing anything. I know that you were talking about the amount of strapping that athletes can wear as far as legally when it comes to these type of events.
Oh, do you know, I actually don't know if there is a limit. I think that you can actually, we just caught a glimpse of the judge. You can see him right there. Look at the attention he is paying to make sure things are staying where they need to stay. I think it's pretty much whatever it takes to keep your body on there. And you can see for Orlova, she's opted also to have a grab bar. And that is just to help her maintain her balance. There was a time when some of the grab bars were made up of flexible material, but that has now been disallowed. It has to be a rigid material.
I suspect so. So that was the first throw that was given after that practice throw. So Oliver, 12:39 with her opening effort. As I said, they will get 3 attempts each before there is a short break period in the middle. All 6 taken at the same time. And that one there just short of that 15-metre marker. You can see she has a lifetime best of 14:32. So that first one of 12:39 is quite short of that distance. Really hard in these conditions when it comes to wanting to break records and wanting to really improve, as she's done there with a 13:65. It does become somewhat of an issue for those who are actually waiting further down the line. Now, we've talked about the heat in the past and people sitting out there in the heat, but that's undercover. But these conditions would probably be harder as an athlete, sitting there and getting cold before you go out.
It's actually really interesting. There is an element of seeding when it comes to field events. Like we see on the track, athletes get the middle lanes. But in this case, we'll see that the athlete who is expected to win tends to go last. But I can't help but think, what an advantage, both in the heat and in these conditions, to go first.
We'll come back to that anyway. We're going to get to the first track event of the evening. It's the women's 800 metres, T53 final. Now, if you want any more, of course, on all the different categories, head to Paralympics.org and you'll get plenty on each of the categories and watch each wheelchair category, visual impairment, coordination impairment, etc., etc. There are 4 to go in this originally. We now have 3 because Pineda Barajas has withdrawn and won't be a starter. So 3 to go, and among those 3, Zhao Hongjuan, who's the 3-time Paralympic champion. Of course, there's no Sammy Kinghorn, no Catherine de Bruyne, etc. They're all missing. Madison de Rosario is another one in the T53 section. A lot that you know about because your husband, Brent Lakatos, is a T53.
He is a T53, and just in case you're wondering what the difference is between a T53 and a T54. A T53 doesn't have as much trunk control, so typically you'll see them just pushing with their arms. They won't lift their upper body like the T54s do.
So 3 to go. Lane 7, 6 and 5 will be occupied. Zhu is in lane 7. She's won gold all the way back to Beijing in 2008. She won 2012 in London, 2016 in Rio as well. Hamide Dongagan, formerly Hamidi Kurt, bronze last year. And Gao Fang, the second of the Chinese. She took gold in the Tokyo Paralympics in the 100 metres.
Final starts now.
So 2 laps, they'll get around to the 100-metre mark, and then they'll be moving into the inside lane for the remainder of it. And this will be a race of tactics in a different way, because when there's only 3 in there, there are less people to go around, and we saw it yesterday in the women's 5,000 metres T54. Much longer race, obviously, but the tactics were still there, and everyone pretty much stuck together for the entirety of the race, bar the last 200 or 300 metres when it became a bit more tactical. This one, much shorter. They come inside, and it's Dongan who has taken the early running. And I suspect that she's probably thought the Chinese athletes may well work together. So she thought, I'll go to the inside first, but it hasn't stopped. Zhu coming around the outside. She's stuck there a couple of lanes wide, but she's put a lot of effort into that to get around and to get inside Hamida Dongagan as they round the bend into the home straight. And when they come down, they'll take the belt. And they'll have 400 metres left to go. And well, Zhu has just put on the afterburners already. She is absolutely flying. Around there is Zhu Hongzhuan. And she is out already to a lead of 20 metres or so. Dongagan and Gao Fang a little bit further back, and just looking at the sparks coming from the wheels at the moment. Pretty much, almost literally, she's going so fast in these conditions for Zhu Hongzhuan. So Zhu down the back straight. She's got around 200 metres to go. The championship record in this is 1:52.15. which was set by Madison de Rosario. That was in Dubai back in 2019. And she's well out in front by 50 or 60 metres. Here's Zhu Hongzhuan. She's just cruising down the straight with around 50 metres to go. That record isn't in any danger whatsoever. The world record, 1:37.96. That was a quick one earlier this year. 1:56.53 as she goes across the line. Sees her take the gold. Coming in second is her compatriot Gao Fang. And Hamida Dongagan will come in after picking up a bronze medal in Paris last year. She finishes 3rd in this one as well. Season best time for both Zhu and Gao, 2:10.42 for Dongagan of Turkey. So a nice, easy run out in the end it proved to be for Zhu. She really... Well, she took off, didn't she? And she was out by about 20 or 30 metres in no time whatsoever, Steph.
Well, it was an easy run for Zhu at the end, but that's only because she put the work in about 200 metres into the race. She made that fantastic, decisive move. She put it in acceleration and made sure it was fast enough that nobody would be able to draft behind her or ride off her coattails. Now, Dongagan did a great job. She tried to get into the front, but here, this is where Zhu makes that move. She puts in that acceleration. No one can stick with her. Now, Gao sensed the danger. She tried to get out from Dongagan and get into the draft, but she couldn't, and that's why Zhao ended up with an easy win in the end.
We say easy, but in these conditions, that's not really easy, is it? You still happen to, you can see the pain on her face there, and you've got the wind and the rain coming into you as well, so it's not exactly an easy race, regardless of whether you're out by 50 metres or so.
You're right, I take that back. It was not easy. You can even just see there what happens when you have all that water on the track. You can see it splashing up in her face, and not only that's probably why Dongagan chose to wear a visor there just to protect that. So it's not exactly the most pleasant way to race, but hey, a win is a win, and that is a world championship crown. Yeah,
lovely photo there of the 3 of them as well. And regardless of the weather this evening, it's a quite wonderful venue, and the athletes are really enjoying themselves in it's a friendly atmosphere. You have to say that. Everyone's very helpful, and it is a wonderful country, Japan. So thank you very much for everyone for the hospitality as we head back to the opening field event of the evening. Elena Oliver with a season best 14:26 with her 4th attempt. So she is the first to go, the neutral para-athlete, Oliver. And that there, the best of her throws. She sits in first position at the moment because she's the only one who has gone thus far. Yeah, and I do wonder, I know that the Javelin has the rope grip on it, but it's still very, very difficult when it gets wet and it becomes slippery and it grinds through your hand. It does become hard to hold on to.
It is difficult, and the release and that fine touch on the Javelin is so important, but you are right about the hospitality, and it extends all across these championships. I was watching one of the judges holding an umbrella over Orlova as she had her break, just doing whatever they could to ensure she was as comfortable and dry as possible in these conditions.
Listen, I've been here 4 or 5 times to this country and I absolutely love it. It is spectacular with the hospitality and it is also spectacular with the para-athletics. We've got the second track event of the evening, another final. This one, the women's 800 metres T54, so the strongest of the wheelchair categories. And this will see Tian Yuan going for double after winning 5,000 metres last night in quite a spectacular fashion. There's our field of 8. Everyone is a starter, which is always a pleasure to see. That no one has actually withdrawn from the race. So a strong field to go in this one. Despite the fact there might be a few missing, we've got a bunch of very talented athletes out there. Some great stories. Some wonderful personalities. And it should be a fantastic race.
Women's 800 meter T54 final. Lane 9.
Great Britain's Melanie Woods will be going from lane 9.
Melody.
She was 5th back in the delayed Tokyo Paralympic Games.
Representing People's Republic of China.
Zhu Jianquan.
Zhao Qin.
Silver last year, also silver at the Asian Para Games and 1,500 gold at the Asian Para Games last year. Naomi Alfonsi, what a story she is. Silver in the 100 last year, bronze in the 400.
Representing Germany,
Menya of Germany. She was 2nd in the 5,000 metres already here, 5th in this event last year. Tian Yuan, Asian Para Games champion, already done gold here in the 5,000 metres. And the lady who's won 4 Winter Paralympic golds for Japan, Momoka.
Representing Brazil.
Talking of the Winter Paralympics, Aline dos Santos Roca, Para-Nordic skier who won gold last year and also bronze in the Berlin Marathon. And Tekni Duengan of Thailand, her first major championships, will go from lane 2.
Starts now.
So a field of 8 as we prepare to get going in this women's 800 metres T54 final.
On your marks.
Well, they got going there. Alphonse had to just wiggle her wheelchair around a bit there to make sure she was back from the line, but she gets away quickest of all, and she's trying to make up some ground to get away to that far side before they all cross over and come into the inside lane. So Alphonse currently leads at the moment, but as they come around there, you'll see that they'll all cut in towards the inside. And in lane 3, doing it first there is Muroka of Japan. And right around the outside, it's Zhu, you can see out there to the furthest on the left with the number 8 helmet on. Menya, who, well, I wouldn't say she got it wrong in the 5,000 metres against Tian Yuan, but she could have done it maybe a little bit better, and she'll have sat down and thought about that, but she's out in front at the moment. This will be a bit more tactical than our last race because we have 8 people going in it, so it becomes a bit more difficult as to position yourself, and if you need to get to the outside and you're stuck on the inside, then you're in a bit of trouble, and it can be quite difficult to manoeuvre those chairs out and around. Just sitting up there next to Menya is Zhu Jianquan, and she's just put the arm speed on a little bit there because she realised she's a couple wide and might get around, but Menya's just holding her at the moment. So they've got about 300 metres left to go as they head down that back straight with a bit of rain into their faces, but they're just managing quite nicely at the moment. They're all sort of within distance. There's 3 that have dropped off the back. But Menya, who leads at the moment from Tian who's just moving around the outside and trying to position herself for this final stroke. Menya's done really well at the moment. You can see she's just gone slightly wider and she's forcing everyone else to go to the outside. Now it becomes a race over 50 or 60 metres, and Menya at the moment is holding on. Menya has it out in front, and Menya's going to take it, you know. She is. Menya takes it across the line. I think it's Tian who's coming in second position, and then it's a photo just about for third. But Menya, she's got her tactics bang on there, taking the victory in 1:58.47. Zhu does come in second, ahead of her compatriot, who is a champion here already. Tian, she finishes with a bronze medal in 1:58.85, so she picks up a bronze to go with that gold in the 5,000 metres. Muraoka has just missed out by the barest of margins, 0.03 of a second. But Menya, 1:58.47. Well, she got the tactics extremely right in that one, Steph.
What a clever, clever race from Menya. I am so, so pleased for her, because I feel like she left and she went home and she learned from her mistake in the 5,000. What she did in the 5,000 was she gave up her lead with 600 meters to go. This time she hung on to that lead, and look at the length of those chairs. If you have someone else in front of you, that's already a 2-meter deficit you have to make up. This time she was in the lead. She knew she could match them for speed, and that's why she won that race. That is how you bounce back from a 5,000 meter defeat. Well done to Menya.
Well, well done indeed. 1:58.47 for her. It's not the quickest time, but she won't care a zot. She's been around for a few years now. She burst onto the scene back in the European Championships a few years back. And she is an outstanding young athlete. You have to remember as well that she's only 19 years of age. When she started in Bigos there a few years back at 16, and she's got it all in front of her. She's got the Paralympics this year. Brilliant win for the youngster from Germany. As we head back to the seated throw, the women's javelin throw F34. Bujadar is the second of the athletes to go. Takes a little bit of time to get them strapped in, obviously, and positioned. The weather doesn't help, mind. So we've only had one athlete who's gone so far, and that's Elena Oliver. Bujadar of Algeria, her lifetime best is 14.17. This a coordination impairment category as well, so this can be quite difficult. You can see sometimes the athletes struggle. You see it on the track as well, that when they come towards the end of a race, the spasticity and so forth, it does become a bit more difficult.
You can actually see as she holds the javelin, she has quite a different grip to Orlova. And actually, we should mention that.
That's a red flag, by the way. I think it's her backside maybe just lifted there.
You can see just the dedication that official has to his job. He is always paying attention.
I'll tell you what, the point didn't even hit the ground, so we don't have to worry about that one. You were saying?
So, yeah, it's good to point out that Bujadar is an F33. So this is an F34 javelin throw. We do have athletes in both classes combined, and F33s tend to be more affected in terms of their coordination, their grip. But we should also point out, Bujadar is a double Paralympic champion, just not in this event, in the shot put, F33 shot put.
Well, 2 fouls to start with, so the red flag has been raised twice. And I've got a feeling it's going to be raised again. It is.
And I do wonder, actually, there is a rule. So the javelin tip, it doesn't have to stick into the ground. It's okay if it slips, but if the back of the javelin hits the ground first, then it's also called a foul.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, I think, that the back of it, especially in that first one. But I think one of them there may have been called for her backside lifting. Now, I'm not 100% positive, But so a bit of a rest here for Bujada. And the pressure sort of comes on now, doesn't it? Because she hasn't got a mark. She's thrown 3. She has 3 fouls. And now you're looking at it thinking, well, do you know what? I've got to get myself a mark. So whichever way I look at it, I've got to make sure that I keep my backside down and worry about that. And I make sure that the elevation I get on the javelin lands at least on the tip somewhere.
Yeah, this is the moment where Bujada really has to gather herself. We just got a glimpse of the clock there. She gets 1 minute in between, and you just have to refocus. You have to forget about what's happened and just bring yourself back to those cues. But it's so hard because this is the moment you've been waiting for all year, and this is a big, big moment. And you're told that you have to treat it as though it's any other training, but it's not. You know it's the World Championships.
A penny for the thoughts of Charlene Koch, who was in the background we just saw a moment or two ago. Now, she is 23 years of age. The nerves must be jangling as she heads into competition. And she's watching what's going on in front of her, and she's seeing all of a sudden these red flags coming up, and she's thinking, I don't want a piece of that. So it can mentally get into your mind. So here's Bujada. She's back in action. This is number 4. And that will be a foul as well. Now, it's the age-old question of how do you change when you're throwing the javelin, because you want to get that elevation. You don't want to get too much, though, because you're not going to get the distance with it.
Yeah, the angle of release, so important in any javelin throws, whether it's ambulant or seated.
Yeah, the biomechanics of it all come into play. So does she change what she's doing? Well, I think that one might have got a mark. Yeah, but the red flag is given. Well, if looks could kill.
You can see the frustration there just starting to come out a bit, and this is such a difficult situation. The conditions are not ideal. Maybe she's struggling a little bit with her grip. Maybe she's not fully comfortable in that chair. But you just have to let it go. She has 1 more attempt.
I suppose we have to balance it as well by saying there is pressure on those judges. They have to make a call, and they have to stick with their decision and be honest in the way they do things, which they are. And it is very difficult for them at times to sit there, and if someone's got 5 fouls and they throw another one, then you have to call it. There's no choice.
Judges have to make such difficult calls, and emotions cannot come into it.
So no mark for Bujada. Another foul is given. She's not best pleased, as you can best imagine. But as it is, she doesn't have a mark, and it's unfortunate, but that is top-level sport, and as unfortunate as it is. So confirmation of that women's 800 metres T53 final. Zhu with a season best 1:56.54, Gao second, and Hamide Dongagan in third place. Pineda Barajas did not start. Women's 800 metres T54, Menya quite outstanding, 1:58.47. She led the whole way. Zhu in second, and Tian of China, who was the favourite, picked up the bronze instead. Well, we turn our attentions back to the track and away from the field just momentarily. It's the men's 400 metres T34. A field of 8 expected to go in this one as well. And Wally Katila, who had disappointment last year, goes in this one. He finished 4th in Paris, and Wally Katila does not finish out of the medals. He did, though, last year. He'll go in lane 5. Season best of 49.70 for him.
Men's 400 meter T34 final. In lane 9, representing United Arab Emirates, Nawad Ahmed.
Ahmed Nawad of the United Arab Emirates goes out in lane 9.
representing Mauritius.
Mauritius and Roberta Michel, who made it through the heats back in 2019 in Dubai. On Qatar, Rashid, 51.21, his lifetime best set this year. Mohamed Al-Ahmadi, who took silver in this last year in Paris. He won gold back in Christchurch in 2011, way back. Wally Katila, 13 World Championship golds, 4 Paralympic golds, but he failed to medal in this event last year. Henry Maddy, he's been around for a while, the Finn. He was 4th in Dubai back in 2019, 9 European Championship golds for him. Mohamed Othman, 51.91, his lifetime best set this year for the man from the UAE. And Al-Kabasi, who set a PB back in Dubai in 2019, will go in lane 2.
Men's 400-meter T34 final starts now.
So just one lap. Championship record and world record held
On your
by
marks.
Thailand's Chawat Ratana. Both of those set last year in different venues. Ratana won the gold in Paris in last year's championships, but
Set.
isn't here to defend his title. So away they get. There was a bit of a slip, I can tell you, from Othman in lane 3 when he got away. He just was really struggling a bit at the beginning. That's how, because the wet conditions. Wally Katila in lane 5 has got away very, very well indeed. And Katila's just blasting down the back straight in the middle of shot. You can see there on his outside, Al-Hamadi, who won silver in this one last year, is looking strong as well. So Al-Hamadi, Katila and Nawad at the moment is the order they're in as they head down with 100 metres to go. And Katila on the inside of Al-Hamadi is just stroking out a little bit in front, but here comes Al-Hamadi back at Katila. Al-Hamadi, I think he's going to actually get him on the line. Al-Hamadi's got it from Katila, and coming home in 3rd out in lane 9, it's Ahmed Nawad. Well, Katila's been beaten on the line now. I'm sure it'll go to a photo, but Al-Hamadi, 51.10.02 of a second in it. Wally Katila, it looked as though he had the measure of Al-Hamadi, the man from the UAE, who took silver last year in Paris. He's upgraded this time to the gold. And the last of the athletes comes across the line, Roberto Michel of Mauritius. Warm round of applause for him, finishing the race, but the disappointment there for Wally Katila. Well, we saw last year that he was disappointed when he missed out altogether. This time he's had to settle for silver because of that man there, Mohamed Al-Hamadi. He won gold in this back in Christchurch in 2011, silver in 2019, silver last year, 3rd time lucky. He takes the gold medal this time. Katila, though, has to be content with a silver. Well, joy for that man. But it was tight. I thought Katila actually had it with about 50 metres to go. I thought he was actually going to move away, but Al-Hamadi just kicked again, and on the line there, the smallest of margins, he took it. Just have a look at that. That shows you how tight this sport can be. But Katila is disappointed, Steph, but Al-Hamadi, let's pay credit to him. He stuck with it.
He did stick with it, and what I love about that race from Al-Hamadi was the confidence he had in his top-end speed as he came home. He didn't panic when he saw that Katila came into the straight a little bit ahead of him. He just kept his head down. Look at the arm speed. He is still increasing speed, and that is just those fine margins that we get in sport. You can feel the disappointment of Katila. It does hurt to lose by that small a margin, especially when you would have thought you had it.
Well, he thought he did. The 3 United Arab Emirates athletes in the race get together and get a nice photo. Men's discus throw F52 is next up in the field. This also a seated event. And De Santos Espinosa was the first to go in that one. There's a field of just a 6 in this. 1862 was his lifetime best coming into this, by the way, for Espinosa.
In the F52 seated throws event, you can see how their grip is affected. He was wearing what actually looks a little bit like a wheelchair racing glove just to help him strap himself to the grab bar. Again, it just helps him to keep his balance as he's throwing. But again, it's just an important thing. One of the things they really have to focus on in terms of their technique is the way they release the javelin, which can be affected by the manner in which they can grip the javelin, or sorry, the discus.
I knew what you meant. I wasn't going to correct you. So there are 5 more to go in the men's discus throw F52, but we do have more action coming up on the track. It's the women's 400 meters T11 final. Now this is complete visual impairment. There are 4 set to go, and what a story this would be if Ishitili could pick up a gold in this. Chris Kinder, who won the gold earlier in the day in the equivalent in the men's race, who we saw over the road at the train station and congratulated and had a chat with, and he was absolutely thrilled to bits, as you could imagine, in the earlier session winning the gold. So could Namibia make it T11 400 victories in both the men's and the women's? We shall see. It's going to be tough though, I tell you, because the Paralympic champion and world record holder Lu Ku Quing will go in this, and Thalita Simplicio de Silva, who is the double defending world champion. So it'll be quick, I can tell you that. Lu Ku Quing is the world record holder. That's set back in 2018. So 6 years between drinks, perhaps, for a world record. We shall see. But there are 4 set to go now. For this, it will take a little bit of time because of being complete visual impairment. The guys have to set everything up. They have to make sure the athlete is in place, in the blocks, ready to go before anything else happens. And then they'll get themselves set. So it is I wouldn't say a laborious process, but it is a complex process because time needs to be taken to actually get things set up, because there are 2 sets of blocks that need to be worked out. The athlete has to be comfortable. The tether you can see in the hand of Laia Ishitili there, which is a certain length and has to be attached to the athlete the whole time. And just in case you're wondering, that if the guy does try and pull the athlete along during the race, that will be a disqualification. And if the athlete doesn't go across the line first at the end, that will be a disqualification as well. So there's a few nuances when it comes to parasport, and especially when it comes to guided parasport. And it can be one of the more complex things within this actual sport itself.
Yeah, in the guided events, there are so many ways to be disqualified. You often have to just wait a moment and just double check the official results. We did see earlier this morning from one of the previous heats just the number of ways that a disqualification can take place. So for example, at the end of this race, you will see that the guides have to let their athletes go cross the finish line ahead of them, because it's the athlete's torso that has to cross first, not their guide. However, as a guide, you also can't release your athlete. You can get disqualified for that as well. And then, of course, as a guide, you have to watch for lane infringements. So it is a huge level of responsibility as you are helping someone achieve their dream. And this is why they also get medals.
Yeah, and it's fully deserved too, because it didn't used to be that way. In the past, until recently, in the last couple of years, it was the guy didn't get a medal. So they did a lot of the work, and you have to have a guide as well that is as fast. Now, if we go back to the 5,000 metres T11 final the other day, now you've got to run 5 kilometres with your athlete, and you have to be quick as well. You can't be holding them back, because that's just unfair. So you have to make sure that you're as fit, if not fitter, because you have to talk to the athlete as well. So you're expending oxygen when it comes to that. So it is a very, very difficult process. And the reason we only have 4 going in this, because there are 2 athletes going as a pair. There is Thalita Vitória Simplicio de Silva, the double defending world champion, who'll go from lane 7. Ishitili of Namibia, she was silver last year in Paris. She'll go in lane 5. Luku Quing, she won gold in 2016 and 2020 at the Paralympics. She's also won gold in 2015 and 17 in this one in the Worlds. And Angie Papon Mamian. Bronze last year. Bronze at the Paralympics in Tokyo. She will go in lane 1 with her guide.
Women's 400 meter T11.
World record held by Luku Quing set in 2018. The championship record, Terenzina Guillermina, set in Lyon at the Worlds back in 2013. So there's a good shot of that tether.
On your marks.
Which keeps the hands of the athlete and guide together. Now it's up to the guide as to which side they stand on, or up to the athlete as well. Some may go on the left, some go on the right. In this one, we have 3 guides who are on the left and just Lou's guide who goes on the right. And being the T11, we'll have complete silence before the start.
Set.
Well, they're away with no issues at all, which is always a good thing. And moving very fast already on the outside is Simplicio de Silva. Now, it can be difficult when you're running out in lane 7 as to tactically what to do, because you've got no one in front of you and you don't know whether to go out fast or whether to conserve your energy. But it's pretty much as they started at the moment. It's a very, very even race. Simplicio de Silva slightly has it ahead of Luku Quing. There may be a tightening up of the athletes as they move around that back straight. Ishitili is struggling somewhat at the moment and dropping back. Simplicio de Silva on the outside. Luku Quing with her guys moving through rather fast on the inside, but Simplicio de Silva currently has it. Lou's tightening up somewhat at the moment. Simplicio de Silva kicks again on the outside. Simplicio de Silva looks like she's going to take it. Lou in second place at the moment. Ishitili looks like she's going to come through and possibly get it. While Simplicio de Silva has just fallen there above the line and fallen over. So we'll just have to check to see whether that tether has come apart. But Ishitili may well have picked up second position there with a late burst at the end ahead of Luku Quing. That's a season best given at 57.45 for Simplicio de Silva. So she makes it 3 world titles in a row. Like Ishitili, she left it late. She left it too late. It's a season best for Lou, picking up the silver, 58.32. Ishitili, 58.37. I thought she was gone for 1 point down the back there, but she went again. The medical staff are out for Simplicio de Silva. She just about got across the line there. She was wavering and faltering towards the end, and she got there, so we just hope she's okay. But she went out at the rate of knots, and it is more difficult going from the outside.
It is. Well, I was actually going to say, you know, you have no idea what anyone else around you is doing, but of course this is a T11 event, so you wouldn't know anyways. But the guide is able to be the eyes for you. And I just wonder what her guide is saying to her here. Does he know that she's struggling? Does he know what's going on? Is he saying, you know, you're so close, you just got to keep going? And I do think that that will be heavily looked at. Hopefully all is good on that front. And it will just be a question to make sure that her torso crossed ahead of hers. But what was really interesting is that race was neck and neck, again, until about that 300 meters. And as we've seen across all these 400 meters, it really comes down to who can deal with that lactic acid, who gets it right in terms of pacing.
Do you know what? There was absolutely nothing in it for the first 200 meters. You could have left them as they were at the starting line. Nothing in it whatsoever. We'll come back to that in a moment because the tether was there across the line, but Charlene Koch of Germany, she's gone into first place in the women's javelin throw F34 final. That is because her best mark was 14.34, which puts her ahead of Orlena Oliver, who's the neutral para-athlete, who went first of all. Bujadal went second, didn't get a mark at all. So it means that Charlene Koch of Germany has the lead. We saw the nerves on her face when she was waiting earlier. but she's taken that out and given it some. 14.34 with her third attempt is her best. Now her lifetime best is 15.38, season best of 14.42. She'll be happy with how she's performed though, because she's in the lead at the moment. We'll head back down to the other end because we're getting set up for the seated event down there, which of course is the men's discus throw F52, but we also have the high jump. Roderick Townsend defending his title, and good to see that he's hopefully there. As we just pad along through the field. And there he is. So he did pull out of the last couple of jumps in the men's long jump T47 yesterday. He was in, I think, 4th position at the time, but he withdrew. We were a bit concerned it may be an injury, but thankfully he's here on the start line as one of 10 who are going in the men's high jump T47. So first up is Javelin. Lifetime best of 194. He was 6th last year. Georgi Margev, same for him at 194 at his lifetime best, the neutral para-athlete. Pitso of South Africa. 190 his season best, which is his lifetime best set this year.
Representing People's Republic of
Chen Honji,
Chen.
4th, just out of the medals last year in Paris. He took silver in the Asian Para Games though as well last year. Chanaboon, his lifetime best is 201. Hasn't been that great this year though, 20 centimetres short of that Natai. Rampal Chaha of India, 5th last year. Perez Martinez of Spain comes in at number 7.
Representing India,
the second of the Indians, Nisha Kumar, 209, taking silver behind Roderick Townsend last year. Ibrahim Bouba of Cameroon, the penultimate to be introduced, and last but not least, Roderick Townsend, who is a double Paralympic champion. He's also won the last 4 titles at the World Championships. It is the world record holder from last year, which he set in Paris. So they're getting set to go for the men's discus throw F52. Does continue. The Santos Espinosa, 16.32. Kęstutis Skukas of Lithuania is in 2nd position currently, 14.87 with his second. Now his lifetime best is 17.77, so quite some distance for that. His season best is 15.34, so he's got some work to get up to that as well.
Now, he might be the busiest man in this competition. In addition to competing here on the system, he is registered to do the 100 meters, the 400 meters, the 1500 meters, along with this one.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Well, if you come all this way, you may as well get as much track and field time as possible.
Yeah, do you know what I love about parasport? It is the diversity of events that people can go in. It is unbelievably different each time. You do not have that in able-bodied sport. In parasport, you'll have someone doing a 5,000 metres and you'll have someone doing a shot put as well.
Well, I guess we do get that kind of, we get that variety definitely in the wheelchair races, but I am confused with the 1500 meters. The 100 and 400 makes sense, you know, some speed and some power. The 1500, I'm right. I think you're right. Why do that?
Nothing confuses me anymore, because I love the fact that people just choose to do so many different things. And do you know what? If you can do it and you can have a crack at it, do it. There's no point dying wondering, is there?
Exactly. And actually, there used to be a pentathlon event in the Paralympics. Maybe we need to bring that back.
It would be a quite a handy one. Yes, you are on TV, lads. So this is the break period. If you're wondering, you do get a break after your opening 3 attempts. You can readjust yourself, have a quick drink, get a minute or so. You can see that clock in the background there, just counting down. 47 seconds left at the moment, off to the left. And we're just about set to go. So that one now over the 14.5 metre mark again. It'll be something there similar to the first ones. That there actually was his fourth attempt, I should say. The foul for the third, 15.53. That's more like it. Season best for Skoukas. He's still got a ways to go. About 80 centimetres if he's to overtake the Santos Espinosa, who was first to go, the Mexican.
Now this field really is wide open, and that none of our medalists from Paris 23 are here. However, the world record holder who will throw last, he is here. He finished 5th last year. Yeah,
he is here, and he has got a mighty throw on him if it all goes right. That's the question, to make sure it goes right, because you only get one go at it, don't you? 6 attempts, and if you get into the groove, then he may well come up with something special. We shall see. We'll head back to that in a moment or two's time. Men's 400 metres T34, the results from that, just to confirm, Al Hamadi taking gold, Katila with the silver, just getting beaten out by 0.02 of a second, and Henry Manny with a season best getting the bronze medal. Now that's interesting. Nawad had taken 3rd position, but he has been disqualified, so Manny has been lifted up the order. We'll try and work out what that was for in a moment or two's time. Season best for Simplicio de Silva. She has been given, despite falling over the line, the gold medal. Luku Quing coming in a silver medal position. So that was a very interesting one. If she'd have fallen 5 metres earlier, it may have been all over. But she wins the gold medal and claims another world title against the Paralympic champion, Luku Quing. Men 100 metres T64. A field of 6 to go in this one. We're just about ready to go in a moment or two's time. Ishitili, by the way, claiming that bronze medal in the women's 400 metres T11. So Chris Kinder taking the gold in the men's version earlier today, and a bronze from Namibia in the women's event this evening.
Round 1, heat 1.
All happening for Namibia today.
In day 3, representing Italy, Morana Davide Bartolo.
So 2 heats to take place in this. There is no Maxel Manu, who won gold last year. He won't be competing. Derek Loxton, who took a silver in the high jump event yesterday evening, is in it. Paul Daniels, not the magician, but the athlete, will go in lane 5 of South Africa. Kengo Shima in lane 6 of Japan. Hunter Woodall, lifetime best of 11 on the button. He took 7th position last year. He won bronze in the 400 in the Tokyo Paralympic Games. And Jesus Castillo of Peru will go out in lane 8.
64, round 1, heat 1.
So as I said, no Maxel Manu, who won gold last year, the Italian. He is not here at these championships.
On your marks.
So the first heat of 2, and it will be the first 3 who go through. Morana is in 3 of Italy, Loxton of the USA in 4, Daniels of South Africa in 5, Oshima in 6 of Japan, Hunter Woodall of the USA in 7, and Jesus Castillo of Peru in lane 8.
Set.
Well, there's a false start in that one, and it may well be. Well, it might have been the South African there. I thought might have actually gone Paul Daniels, or is it Castillo? We'll have to have a look at that replay, but they certainly gave it straight away. Let's have a quick look here, and we'll be able to see if there's any movement Yeah, it's a South African. He's definitely gone Paul Daniels there. So now the question is, we saw it yesterday, and we saw the athlete then come back and do his own race last night in one of the events. But, well, Daniels, he twitched, didn't he? And he moved. There was actually a movement there. Now, I know he's got the blade.
Please, in front of the boxes.
Now this will be interesting because for the amputee events, the starting information system is not turned on, so it is a call by the judges. We don't have the reaction times. We only get reaction times
Please,
in the T11 to T13.
Now, you just heard that. Please, can you disqualify the
Lane
athlete?
5 is disqualified.
Paul Daniels, as you can hear in lane 5, has been disqualified. So 1 minute he's here, the next minute he's gone. Disappointment for Daniels. He did move. And the red card has been given. He won't be happy about it, but there was definitely a movement there forward from Paul Daniels. So he has been disqualified. And it is a DQ next to his name.
On your marks.
So now we only have five in there. Lane 5 will be absented. Marana in 3, Loxton in 4, Oshima in 6, Woodall in 7, and Castillo will go in lane 8. Well, it shows you the difficulties, doesn't it, in parasport at times of...
Set.
Just a slight movement. This time they are away though, and in the middle there it is Oshima who got away quickest, but Loxton is coming back at him, but Oshima, and it's being brought on by the crowd, but here comes Hunter Woodall down the outside. Oshima in second, and here's Loxton who comes in third. It just goes to show you that in this T64 category, it takes a little bit of time for the athletes and the blades to get working, but when they do, they absolutely motor down there. Woodall's taken it. Oshima, a season best, 11:40 for him. And Loxton, who won silver in that high jump competition just yesterday evening, will go through in the top 3 to the final. But there was a brilliant start there from Oshima. But you can see the double blades of Hunter Woodall. Once they get going, it does make a difference. And they're only single-bladed athletes, so find those double-bladed come down the outside, and it does make a difference, Steph.
Yeah, there is. It does look that there's a different speed profile. And so some people will look at that and think, well, what are they doing in the same class? And so what they do is there actually is a limit in terms of how long their blades can be. And you can actually go online. There is a published register where each of the athletes, it's called the MASH, and each of the athletes has a certain height they can be at according to the length of their limbs. And so that's one of the ways that they help keep it even.
Well, we'll have confirmation of that race in a moment or two's time, but the women's javelin throw F34 continues at pace. Saida Moody, who was 8th last year in Paris, of Morocco. The 44-year-old is a 16.92 thrower on her best day. Today, though, it's a season best, 15.07. That with her 3rd attempt. 1 foul along the way, but it does put her in 1st position. So back for the next heat in the men's 100 metres T64. And we have 6 again in this one to start anyway. Paul Daniels, if he just joined us, was disqualified in the 1st heat in the men's 100 metres T64 for moving on the line ever so slightly, but he did move. And if they're going to be consistent, as they have been throughout these championships, then the red card was issued. And Daniels, unfortunately for him, is out. Castillo and Marana are the 2 in the hot seat, 11.69 and 11.79 for them as the fastest qualifiers after the 1st heat. So we'll watch with bated breath afterwards to see who may be shafting them out of those hot seats and taking a seat themselves. I could do with a hot seat at the moment. It's a bit chilly, but we'll continue on
Men's 100-meter T64.
The rain seems to
round
have
one,
eased a little bit, is the good news.
In lane
So not
three,
too bad at the moment.
representing Thailand, Kotcharang.
Kotcharang of Thailand will go in lane 3.
In lane 4, representing United States
Blake
of
Leaper.
America. Leaper.
11:38 lifetime best for him will go in lane 4.
In lane 5, representing Brazil.
Wallace and Andre Fortes
Wallison Andre.
in lane 5, and next to him,
In lane
Sherman
6,
Geety, the silver
representing
medalist
Costa
from
Rica.
last year.
Geety,
He won
Sherman
Parapan
Isco.
American gold last year as
In
well.
lane 7,
He'll go
representing
in
Japan.
lane 6 as the favourite in this one.
Shutsuke.
Itani Shutsuke of Japan,
In
if you
lane
couldn't tell by that,
8,
Raw goes in lane 7, and Francesco Laranjo of Italy will go in this. Just in case you are just joining us, Maxel Amu Manu, who won gold last year, is not competing in this event as he looks ahead towards the Paralympic Games in Paris
On your marks.
later this year. So the top 3 will automatically qualify through to the final, and then we'll have the next 2 fastest who head through after that. Heat 2 of the men's 100 metres T64. Kotcharang in 3, Leaper in 4, Fortes in 5, Geety in 6, Itani in 7, and Laranjo will go in lane 8.
Set.
Well, they'll get away. Geety gets away fast as the ball. He absolutely flew out of the gate there, and he is flying out in front. He's going to take first place on the outside. Looks like it's going to be Laranjo who takes second, and then it might be Leaper who's picked up third position and goes through to the final. Definitely Geety out in front, did it nice and easy. Laranjo is through as well, and I think Leaper might have taken that third automatic qualification position. 10.82 a season best for Geety. Laranjo in a lifetime best of 11.47 guarantees he's through. And we're just waiting for confirmation. It is Leaper in 11.59 who also goes through to the final. And then we'll be having a look at times as to who's going through quickest. 11.59 for Itani, which will put him through as one of the fastest qualifiers for sure, even though he finished in 4th place. He was quicker than both the 4th and 5th who came through in the previous race. So he's qualified through. Also, Fortes of Brazil has also gone through.
We just saw Geety there. He got out. We were talking about double blades and their top end speed, but Geety just kept on going. And for anyone watching at the beginning of that race, you saw Geety sitting down and taking his leg off. What he would have been doing is readjusting his socket and his vacuum seal, because when you are running at that speed, and that is how the legs are held on, it's by a vacuum seal, especially with this weather, you want to make sure that is secure.
Well, we get to the high jump, and it's Perez Martinez who is about to go. Not been underway very long. And Perez Martinez has 2 fouls at 175. He opted to come in at 165. He cleared 170 as well at the first attempt. And this at 175 is to keep him in the competition. His lifetime best is 186, so he's some way short of that. Conditions perhaps hampering him. Yeah, and that is not going to be a day for him to remember. He's blocked out at 175, so 3 fouls. The conditions aren't great, it has to be said, with the rain coming down, but yeah, he just didn't get up there. Didn't get that bounce off the legs that he wanted to get, and never really looked like clearing it. So disappointment there for Perez Martinez. 170, it is a season best for him, but disappointment there, trying to go up to 175, and certainly not his day. So at the moment, it is Rampal who leads on 175. He cleared that at the first time of asking. And the bar height is now being put up to 179. We already lost Buba of Cameroon as well at 160, who didn't clear that in the opening height. Well, that's easy enough, isn't it? Xiao Yalong. Have that. 179, season best for him. He has absolutely flown over that by some distance.
He did have some good clearance there. Now, all the athletes know ahead of the time what the different bar measurements are going to be. And so we started at 160, and then we're going up by 5, and then you start to go up by 4. So what the athletes are doing is they have to make a decision in terms of where they want to go in. For example, on our screens, we can see that Roderick Townsend isn't even interested until 196.
Well, there's a confirmation of that opening heat. Hunter Woodall, Oshima and Loxodon go through as the 3 automatic qualifiers from that. The others missed out. Paul Daniels disqualified on the start line for breaking the mark. And the second one, 5 go through from that. Giti, Lorano and Leaper automatically, and Itani and Fortes as the fastest qualifiers. Season best and lifetime best as well for first, second and fourth. So this is how it looks. Giti at the top of the pile, 1082. He'll go into it as favourite without a doubt. Loxodon trying to pick up another medal after getting silver in the high jump just yesterday. A quality field for the final. Well, as we zoom around, men's long jump T63. Leon Schaefer, who is the reigning champion from last year, will be competing in this. He broke the world record in Paris last year. So a field of 12 are set to go in this one.
Representing Japan,
Inagaki Katsuko. Lifetime best of 586 for the Japanese athlete. We have 2 Japanese athletes going in this. You may recognise the name of the second one a little bit more. Umbayamba of the Netherlands, who was 6th last year. Kampong of Thailand, who also competed in Paris last year. He finished in 9th position overall. And here is one of the ambassadors here for these games. He was at the press conference the day before competition started. It is Yamamoto Atsushi, who was 8th last year. Georgios Anifantis of Greece. And Joel de Jong, who won bronze in Paris last year. He'll be hoping he can go a little bit better this time around. Ezra Frick. Oh, he's up for it. High jumper and long jumper. And the long jump, he missed out in the middle just slightly last year, finishing 4th. Ali Letsine, lifetime best of 670 for him. The German finished 5th last year. Mbote of South Africa, he's ready to go. He's pumped.
Representing Belgium,
Benkador of Belgium is number 10 in the list, and Leon Schaefer won the gold last year. It was a world record of 7.25. And Kondo, the 3rd of the Japanese athletes in this one, last to be announced, but certainly not least, was 7th in Paris last year.
Starts now.
So they'll take a bit of time to get their marks and so forth, which they've already got sorted out, but just to make sure that everyone's happy. And wouldn't it be good for Yamamoto, who's one of the ambassadors here, to come up with a big performance and get the crowd really behind him and see something special. There he is in the background there. Over to the left with the sunglasses, it's just standing up.
You can just see there all of the athletes adjusting their prostheses. It is one of the most important things when you run. It seems quite obvious, but you want it to stay on. There are several different methods in which you can keep a leg on, but one of the most important things is keeping moisture away. That includes both rainwater and, yes, sweat. So you'll see the athletes taking them off quite frequently. Within a long jump, you have the time to do it because you take your jump and then you can wait for others. But the other really, I've got to say, annoying thing about long jump is the sand. You get sand everywhere, including in your sockets. And so those are the two priorities of these long jumpers. You'll rarely see them without their towels, getting rid of the sand and the sweat. But this is going to be really exciting. We have 2 athletes capable of 7-meter jumps, possibly more, but 2 that definitely have gone over 7 meters.
Well, that man there, Yamamoto, has picked up 2 golds in the past. He won in Lyon in 2013 and Doha in 2015. So he'll be hoping that something from the crowd can inspire him to get back into that gold medal winning position here.
Wouldn't that be great to see Yamamoto? He was second both in Rio and in Beijing, and for so long he was leading the way in this event. Really was one of the people that pushed this on at the start.
And it is Japan who will go first. It's not that man Yamamoto. It is Katsuki Inagaki, who is getting the crowd going, and this should be really thrilling because it's on this near side here where all the crowd is gathered, and they will get behind their man and hope he can come up with something very, very nice. Inagaki first to go, and that looks like it might be a red flag. It is. He's broken across the edge of the board and gone too far, so not the start he wanted, not the start the crowd wanted. And you can see right there.
That was close, but
No need for lasers on that one.
no need for argument on that one. And it is a lot of the athletes do take off from their blades, and it actually is quite hard proprioceptively to control a blade that you can't, it's not like your foot. You sometimes don't always know where it is in space. And again, it's just one of the nuances, and it's just one of the skill sets you have to develop, a consistent runway.
Now, how hard is it to, when you first start doing long jump, being a long jumper yourself in the past, how difficult is it when you're using a prosthesis and you're then having to use a blade to jump from?
It's interesting. There is an adjustment period every time, and you'll see the different athletes, they'll have different manufacturers of blades. Those blades have different shapes, and every time you get a new one, your body almost has to, your mind has to create this new map for where that blade is going to be. I was notorious in my early career for fouling. Did it all the time, and I would argue with my coach, I was not over the board. He's like, I've got it on video, Stephanie, but my understanding of where that blade was just different, and I had to adjust.
I couldn't imagine you having an opinion about it.
No, not me. Also, I never yelled, and I was always very pleasant about it.
Well, here comes Umbayamba of the Netherlands. Just getting himself set and focusing on what he needs to do. Well, that's a flag as well. It was deep into the pit, but he definitely went straight across that line by quite some margin. I guess when you're talking about new blades, and we'll just have a look here, you can see, yeah, that's a fair ways across. When you're talking about blades, it's almost like if you've got a new pair of shoes and you're trying to wear them in when you get a new blade.
Well, I feel like a new blade is maybe a bigger adjustment than a new shoe.
A little bit more expensive than a pair of shoes, I'd say.
It is a little bit more expensive. But actually, watching Mbayamba compete reminded me of something that you said in Paris in 2023. You said, we're going to have athletes competing in Paris 2024, LA 2028, who haven't had their injuries yet. And that is exactly what I think of with this story with Noah. He was a former footballer that lost part of his leg in a scooter accident. And it's always, I know we want to focus on the sport as opposed to the stories, but the stories matter. And it's fascinating to see how athletes come into para-sport.
It's incredible. And every time I turn up to a para-athletics event, I know there's going to be a story like that. I know there's going to be someone there who, perhaps when I last worked on a para world championships or Europeans or whatever it may be, Paralympics, that there wasn't that person were competing in able-bodied sports at that point. It does change people's lives, and a lot of the time it changes it for the better when it comes into this sport.
And sometimes the case is athletes come in who just didn't know the Paralympics existed, which is why we're so pleased you're watching, and we're so pleased the coverage has been fantastic.
Well, here's Kumpong, who's also picked up a red flag. So quite some start. I think we saw this yesterday as well in the, I think it was the women's long jump. It might have been a T47 for them that we saw yesterday, that there was a, well, that's a huge one, that one.
That green board you're seeing there, that's 10 centimeters. The white part of the board is 20 centimeters. But if you touch any part of the green board, and not even just touch, if you break the plane, that will be called a foul. But you're right, we had this in the men's T47 long jump, and it was a bit of a slow burner. It did take a little bit of a while to get going. We saw a few fouls, but it got so interesting in the later rounds.
Well, I can tell you what's going to happen next is Yamamoto is coming up. So I'm confident that he's going to be the one who breaks the duck here and gets us onto the scoreboard and gets this crowd going.
Next jumper is from Japan.
He's had quite some career. Silver in Rio, silver way back in Beijing in 2008. He's won a couple of world golds. He's been involved in relay teams, 4x100s, and you go all the way back to Christchurch when he picked up a bronze medal there. He also got a bronze in the 200 and the 100 as well. So he's a multifaceted athlete.
He has also competed in snowboarding in 2018.
Oh, it was never in doubt that he was going to be the first one to put a mark in. Never in doubt.
Clearly you've done this before, Tilson. You can see it was a reasonably conservative runway in that he was quite far off the board, but getting that first mark in is so important.
You have to remember as well, and we've spoken about this in the past, when we're going with 12 athletes, you want to get a mark in that first 3 before we end up dropping people out. So it's a bit unconventional, his jumping style is actually Yamamoto, but it works.
I think he did a good job of saving that one. I think ideally he would have preferred to be a little bit more balanced, but it just shows so much power is going into his body as he takes off, and you really have to fight and be strong and use that core, use your limbs to stop that forward rotation. You can see there both on Yamamoto and on Anafantis, they have a bit of a wrapping around their knee joint, and that is just to keep that joint clear of sand, because you do not want any issues when you're running at top speed.
So Anafantis of Greece is underway, and it looks like he's got a red flag as well. So certainly proving problematic at the moment for those jumpers. Just finding their right mark. That's quite some distance over as well.
You can see the athletes walking across there. They're walking across to have a quick chat with their coaches and just have a bit of a debrief, see what's going on. When your runway is not working out for you, you've got 2 options. One, the obvious one, you move the runway back, but sometimes that's not always a problem. Sometimes the length of the runway, it's fine. It's just the way that you're putting that runway together.
Well, here comes Joel de Jong. He was a bronze medalist last year. He won silver back in Bydgoszcz back in 2021 at the Europeans. And Leon Schaefer's giving him a clap as well. They all get in well together. And here goes Joel de Jong. Well, that's pretty big. He's happy with that one as well. And why wouldn't you be? It's a white flag, and that'll definitely put him into the lead.
That was a huge jump, but also what you see from Joel de Jong, just a confident runway, and that confidence is because he is so fast. He was, well, you could argue he was a bit of the surprise winner for the 100 meters at the World Champs last year, but when you are a confident runner, and what I mean by that is you will always be more consistent if you run it 100% every single time, and that's exactly what he did, and that might just be our first 7-meter-plus jump of the competition.
Well, he's 22 years of age, he has confidence, and he's got a confident jump as well. 682, that will put him into the top position for the time being. for Joel de Jong. Almost up to his season best. That's 6.87. His lifetime best, 7.03. So here comes Ezra Freck.
Now we have 3 world champions from Paris 2023 in this event. So we have Leon Schaefer, who is the gold medalist from the long jump. We have Joel de Jong, who's the gold medalist from the 100 meters. And we have Ezra Freck, who was the gold medalist in the high jump.
Who was coached in that high jump, of course, by Roderick Townsend, who's in the high jump this evening. Well, that's a decent enough jump from Freck, and I think that he might have got the white flag there. He has. So he's got a mark on the board straight away. And we saw Townsend in the long jump last night. Tonight he's doing the high jump, and it's Ezra Freck's turn to compete in the long jump this evening.
And Freck actually took off, from my eye, quite far behind the board. And there's the obvious thing where you're missing the distance from the board, but actually, and particularly on a blade, you just get better impact when you make contact with that wooden board.
So Ali Lassine will be the next to go.
You just heard Freck there say, I just wanted to get one in to make sure I get in the final. He's aware that after the 3rd attempt, only the top 8 are moving on.
Well, here's the man who was 5th last year. And that will be a red flag as well. Yeah, there was no questioning that one from the naked eye. From where we're sitting up here in the stand, I could make that one out.
Actually, one of the challenges of being a double blade runner in this event is that it does make your runway a little harder to be consistent on. And as I say that, I'm actually now thinking of Fleur Jean, who's incredibly consistent and is a double blade runner, but a lot of effort goes into that.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. There is Leon Schaefer, who's just preparing himself to go. He'll be the penultimate of those to go. 12 in the field all up. Maboti of South Africa. There'll be 3 more to go after him. Well, that one looked okay. Yeah, it's a white flag, so Maboti has got his campaign off to a start with a mark.
There's so much potential for Maboti in this event. He made his debut in Paris, and he had a really strong showing in the 100 meters.
Well, I'll tell you what, 5.93 is his lifetime best. He's absolutely gone past it. 6.03, he's beaten it by 10 centimetres on his first mark, and he's also set a new African record as well. So he's in the 3rd position. What a start from Maboti. Benkador of Belgium. 4.62 on his best day. He'll be hoping if he can push up towards that 5-metre mark. Yeah, quite some distance, I think, behind the board. I don't even know if he actually got to the board.
Now, this is his international debut, and what a field to do it in. I mean, this can be quite intimidating, but at the same time, if I was him as I was competing, I would be looking around me, just checking out other people's equipment, checking out their approach.
Yeah, it's all about experience, isn't it? 4.15 confirmed there for Benkador, so he's in 5th position because of the fouls we've had well beforehand. And here is Leon Schaefer, the defending champion. Set that world record, winning last year in Paris. He's gone with the hat approach. Now, I know you're not a fan of the hat approach, are you? For reasons that if it falls off and his mark then goes further back into the pit.
That is true, but I'm glad that it's at least turned around, so it's slightly more aerodynamic.
So Schaefer sets himself to head down the runway, and off he goes. Well, he is massively behind the board, but he's up near the 7-metre mark. He must have lost around 20 centimetres there. But we've spoken about it before. It's a case of getting yourself a mark and not putting yourself under too much pressure so that you go through to those final 3 jumps.
It was a good mark. So he's done what he needs to do. I mean, I think he knows at this point, I'm pretty safe to get into the final. And now he gives himself some options in terms of how aggressively he wants to push towards that board.
It's a good technique.
Again, I just love this angle because you can see how high those hips are getting above the ground.
So 660, it's a season best. It puts him into 2nd position behind De Jong. I'm sure he knows he's got a bit of work to do. So Kondo Hajime is the last to go of the 12 in the opening round. Joel de Jong leads on 682. Schaefer with a season best just then, 660 in 2nd. Ezra Freck on 611 is in 3rd position at present as we stand. This the final jump in the opening round of the men's long jump T63. Oh, that's nice. Back from the board, but a mark around the 6 metres. And Mabote, with that African record, is currently in 4th with 603. Yamamoto, 597, is in 5th position. And that's up around the 6 metre mark.
As he was jumping, I was thinking, we have been staring at that leg every day on the train on both journeys. They've been so good about advertising these championships, and he is on an advertisement that runs constantly in the train.
And well worth it as well, because he set a season best. He's hit 6 metres on the button, so he usurps his compatriot Yamamoto and moves into 5th position. Atsu Yamamoto moves down into 6th. So after the first round, De Jong leads, Schaefer in 2nd, and Ezra Freck rounds out the top 3. 682 at the top there for Joel De Jong. And we've got 5 athletes who are yet to register a mark. They have 2 attempts left before we drop down to a final 8 for the remaining 3 jumps. So Inagaki will get us underway in the 2nd round of jumps.
Representing NBA, Alexandra.
Well, I think he might have just got a mark there. They're going to check on the system over here. It is run by lasers and computers. Now, the judge isn't sure, so they've asked to check it out. It has been given a white flag. So he must have been tight enough. And he's up around the 6 metre mark. Let's just have a look. Oh, that's nice. That is lovely. You couldn't get into a much better position with that one there. He's fallen forward, so he hasn't lost any ground, and a mark of 563 for Inagaki. And that will put him up into 7th position with a season best jump. So Japan in 5th, 6th and 7th at the moment. And all their jumpers now have a mark.
That's exactly what Inagaki would have wanted to do, because even though he would have preferred to jump a little bit farther, the worst thing is to go into round 3 having no mark. So at least he now knows he can have confidence in his runway.
Well, here's another man who needs a mark, Umbayamba of the Netherlands. He's up now with his 2nd. And that is way, way over. So he's going to have the pressure on of finding a mark in his 3rd jump. That one there was massively over the mark.
This is a tough position he is now in, because this field is stacked. And just getting into that top 8 is going to be tough. And so now he's not really going to have the option of doing a conservative safe jump.
Well, we'll come back and have a look at that in a little while's time. But the men's 400 metres T53 final is about to take place. That's the next one out on the track. 13 goals in total here on this third evening session. Day 3 of 9. Plenty to look forward to. If you're wondering where Will Downing is this evening, I'm sure there's a few of you who are wondering where he is. He's got a sore throat and is resting it up for the night, so hopefully he'll be back with us tomorrow morning and doing most of the work, no doubt, while we have a rest. So there's the start list. There is no Pongsakorn, who is the gold medalist from last year. He's not here at these championships, but we do have a very good field indeed. Always a good field when you have Pierre Fairbank as well. He's been around for a while, 52 years of age. That man we just saw then isn't Motez Yomni. There is Fairbank, the man from New Caledonia. He's been competing since Sydney in 2000. What a career. And this year, finally, he'll have a home Paralympics of sorts in Paris. So Yomni, who was the European champion back in Swansea in 2014. He won silver in 2016. Bob Hunt
400-meter T54
of the United States. They're out.
Heat 1.
A field of 7 going in this one.
Representing
Khalifi of Tunisia will go from lane 9. 50.89, his lifetime best that was set this season. Pierre Fairbank, who was 5th in Paris last year, will be looking to go at least 2 better to get into the medals. Yoo Byung-hoon was 6th last year in Paris. Abdul Raham Al-Qureshi of Saudi Arabia.
In lane 5, representing
Motez Yomni of Great Britain will be looking for a medal in this one, no doubt. His lifetime best set this year, 49.14. He's the second fastest in the field when it comes to lifetime bests. Fernandez de Silva, who was 8th last year, and Bob Hunt will be taking up the challenge from inside in lane 3.
Men's 100-meter, 400-meter T53 final starts now.
On your mark. Fair.
So away they go with no problems at all. And Bob Hunt has got away quick on the inside lane. He's making up a lot of ground there already on Fernandez de Silva. But Fernandez de Silva has kicked again. So just the 1 lap in the 400 metres. And as they come down, it's Pierre Fairbank, who's in the second lane from the outside there, who's currently in the lead. And Fairbank is looking really strong. Khalifi with him as well, but flying through there is Yoo of Korea. But Fairbank, as they head down with 100 metres to go, he's 52 years of age and he's absolutely flying. But can he hold on? Because on the inside of him, Yoo of Korea is getting towards him, but he's not going to catch him. It's going to be Pierre Fairbank who picks up a gold medal ahead of Yoo. And with the Paralympic Games coming up this year in Paris, Pierre Fairbank has been around since Sydney in 2000. and he's claimed himself a gold medal here in Kobe in 2024. Well, Fairbank going from the second to furthest outside lane, a season best for you, with a silver medal for him. He left it late. He couldn't get there, and in the end, it was the man who is from New Caledonia. Khalifi has taken the bronze medal, but Fairbank, what an effort from him. He took silver in Sydney back in 2000. He was a bronze medalist in Rio in the Paralympic Games in 2016. You go all the way back to Lille in 2000. He won gold there. This, 22 years apart. From then, he's picked up a gold medal again. So Pierre Fairbank, well done to you, sir. 52 years of age and still winning gold medals. Quite outstanding as he looks ahead to later in the year. What a year it could be for him. Paralympic Games in Paris. France reigning supreme here, and Pierre Fairbank has a gold medal to boot. Men's 400 metres T53, gold to Fairbank as we head back to the long jump pit. And it is still Joel de Jong who leads the way, 682. Schaefer in second, and Freck. Now Mbote. Has got some work to do. He's in sixth position, an African record, 6:03 for his lifetime best. And that one there, they're going to check that one, I think. That was tight. And it has been given a red flag, so no improvement for Mbote. Time for the opening round, the men's 400 metres T54. This is the strongest of the wheelchair categories. There'll be 2 heats going in this one. The 3 fastest will go through. Ludwig Malta at the top there. He didn't finish in the 5,000 metres. He was involved in that crash that saw 3 or 4 come down. But thankfully, he's back in action for this one. And there's the man who won that 5,000 you just saw go past a moment or two ago, of Kuwait, Arajihi. Samuel Carter, you saw a moment or two ago.
Men's 400 meter T54.
Was quite a crash
1.
as well in that T54 5,000 metres.
In lane number 9.
Good to see Malta has got back and is ready to go. Jono Arapin of Indonesia will go out in lane 9. Nathan Maguire, who was 5th last year in Paris, will go out in lane 8 of Great Britain. Sianglam of Thailand. The Thais are always strong in the T54 category. There's been some great races over the year and great races. Zhang Ying of China will go in lane 6, and the man who took gold in the 5,000 metres already at these championships, Faisal Arajihi of Kuwait.
In lane 4, representing Australia,
Samuel Carter of Australia will go in lane 4.
In lane 3, representing France, Musanganya Yashir. In lane 2,
Musanganya of France will go in lane 3, and Ludwig Malta of Austria will go in lane 2.
400 meter T54, round 1, heat 1 starts now.
On your marks. set.
And away they go. It'll take them a few seconds or so to get going, and then they'll be blasting around, and Samuel Carter of Australia has done just that. Now, it is the first 3 that automatically go through. There are 8 in this, and then we'll be looking to the 2 next fastest to advance through to the final once we have completed both the heats. Carter through there in lane 4. He's looking very strong, and also Nathan Maguire out in lane 8 has really rocketed around that opening 250 metres. It is important to make sure you do get yourself into a good position, because only 3 do go through. Maguire leads. He's just been overtaken by Samuel Carter on the inside of Australia. So Carter leads with Maguire in second place, and it is Zhang who's being run down there by Arajihi, and Arajihi's got him on the line. So Arajihi will go through as the 3rd automatic qualifier. Carter and Maguire also going through up front. Carter in first place, 48.52 for him. Nathan Maguire, and the man who won the 5,000 metres already, is also through. He left it late, did Arajihi. Maguire came through second. And Arajihi just pipping the Chinese athlete Zhang Ying on the line to pick up that 3rd automatic qualification place. A season best of 49.20 seconds for Zhang. And 51.54 is the next time. Now, they'll be in the hot seat, those 2, as we wait to see if they qualify through.
We've seen so many fantastic 400-meter races this morning, and they were all ambulant. And so what's really interesting about these wheelchair racers are the way that they don't necessarily slow down as the runners do. And 400 meters really is that crossover distance. And the 800 meters, the wheelchair racers are much, much faster. And if you are a budding wheelchair racer, that was a great example there, Nathan Maguire. We just got a push and a half of some really fantastic technique. This is a big opportunity for Maguire.
Yeah, indeed it is. And also for that man there, there's a couple of people missing in this field, so it might be an opportunity to pick themselves up a, who knows, bronze, silver or gold. This man knows all about gold. And on Schaefer, he's currently in first position, a season best second jump of 6.84 metres. He set the world record last year. And let's see how he did that season best this time around. His first was pretty good, put him in second position behind Joel de Jong. He had a bit of a stutter step there as he came up. Looked like he might have maybe slightly lost his run-up, but he hasn't lost any distance as far as first place goes. Only just gliding through the air. Lovely camera angle, that. Great to see.
Some athletes will have a more pronounced, what we call penultimate jump, and it's the way you set the jump up. And actually, a lot of people ask the question, well, why aren't these athletes jumping off their real foot? Why are they taking off their blades? And there's a few reasons why, but it's actually the penultimate jump, or the penultimate step, that really sets up your jump. And I would argue it's actually better to do that off your biological foot.
Well, that one there was definitely a foul. Lost his run-up altogether. Did Inagaki. Now, he has a mark of 5.63 there, and he is in 8th position. He's got 2 fouls. So he's just going to have to hang about here and wait.
Now, there are some big jumpers that are behind him, one of them being Mbiyama of the Netherlands, who has just really struggled to get his runway. But if he can land one in the 3rd round, then Inagaki might be in trouble.
He may be at that. We'll come back to that in a moment or two. We've got the second heat in the men's 400 metres T54. Same again. It'll be the first 3 who go through. The 2 cut-off times at the moment are 49.20 and 51.54 for those who want to get through as a lucky loser, for want of a better phrase. There's Yang, who is the reigning champion. Hu Yang goes in this one. And Dai as well, who picked up bronze. He's also a bronze medalist at the Asian Para Games, the Chinese athlete going from lane 5.
Men's 400-meter T54.
China well represented
round one,
again.
Heat 2.
Al-Zarani out in lane 9 of Saudi Arabia. Lifetime best set this year of 49.31. Ekoma Tomoki, he was 8th last year in Paris. As the rain comes down a little bit harder, he's introduced Hu Yang, reigning champion. Silver, though, in the Asian Para Games last year. Here's a man who knows a thing or two about winning. Saichong Kongen, he was the one who came down in the T54 5,000 metres. Good to see he's back as well. Dai, who took bronze last year.
In lane 4, representing Mexico.
Cervantes Garcia of Mexico will go out in lane 4. And in lane 3, it is Cedric Ravet of Mauritius to round out the field.
Men's 400-meter T54 round 1, Heat 2 starts now.
So there's a little bit of rain still coming down, which is making conditions
On
a
your
little
marks.
bit more difficult.
Set.
So just 7 going in this one compared to 8 in the first. It is the same mathematical equation though. 3 go through, and then we'll have the 2 fastest go in after that. Koma of Japan has gone out very quick indeed. He's currently in 3rd position, and as you would expect, Dai Yun Qing and Hu Yang are not messing about. They are very quick indeed out of the blocks, and Hu around the outside there. He's currently in the lead in lane 7, and Dai also up there with him. Now, is this the first 3 goes through? And well, Hu's making sure of it, isn't he? He'll just loosen off as he comes down there, and Dai is also there, as is Saichong Kongen of Thailand, and that'll be the 3 go through. Kongen in 3rd place, and well, the time's superfluous to things at the moment. It doesn't really matter, but it's a season best for Hu Yang of 47 on the dot. Dai goes through in 48.01 the season best, and Kongen 48.38 for him. So there's your 3 that automatically go through. What we're looking at now is to see what the times behind that are, because the final heat before was 49.20 and 51.54. So well, now to work out who is going through. I can tell you definitely who Dai and Saichong Kongen are going through.
And actually, I've got some news. You mentioned Kongen in the 5,000 and that crash that we saw. And I was just looking it up. That race has actually been decided to have a rerun. The technical officials have looked at it again, and that 5,000 meter where Kongen crashed, and we got a glimpse of his speed, which we saw again in this 400 meters, that race is going to be rerun on Thursday, May 23rd at 17:30. So keep an eye out for that.
Well, that is a bit of a turn-up, isn't it? Because that race last night was won by Al Rajihi, who we just saw a moment or 2 ago in the 400 meters. So now he's going to have to go back and do that all again. A bit more on that as we go through, but just to let you know that as Steph was saying then, that race, the men's 5,000 metres T54 final, will be rerun. It was Saichong Kongen who was taken down, and he was then caused a crash for about 3 or 4 others to go down as well. And well, it will be raced again. Big breaking news here at these championships. Joel de Jong, though, well, that is a massively high jump. He almost landed on his face then, because he had to... Well, you just saw him sheepishly look up then. I think he just completely lost his balance, and he rocketed forward.
Well, the thing is, I think he's smiling, one, because it's a bit funny, and he's not taking himself too seriously. But that sort of thing happens when you generate power you're not expecting. That can actually be a really good sign of what could come, hopefully, in this competition.
Well, that's pretty much what I would classify as a Superman jump. We used to do things like that when I was younger, growing up, of a trampoline into a swimming pool. Don't think you do those type of things these days, but that's what we did.
And he's still jumping 619, even with a missed jump like that.
Yeah, well, he's in second position at the moment with that 682. He's a couple of centimetres behind Leon Schaefer, and he will be going through definitely for those final 3 jumps. There's your top 8 at the moment. Mabote just hanging on there in 8th position.
Just before we left the long jump, we spoke about Netherlands' Mbiama, who was on a clutch jump, and just an update, he did it. 6:37, he managed to register a mark. At the moment, he will be in that final.
Well, here's the man who's currently in 4th, Ezra Freck, on his 3rd jump. Well, that looked all right, actually. I think they're going to check that one. But it looked tight. But the judges referred it across to the computer system. And we'll get a close-up here. Oh, that's going to be a red, I think. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a foul. It's gone across that mark there. There you go.
So the rule is it's not just about whether or not it touches the green, but if the blade in this case crosses the plane. And as you can see, the technical officials, they do have eyes on it, but there is also a camera. And actually, all those images are stored. So if ever there is a question or their appeal, a country wants to put an appeal in, they have everything on record and they can go back. But I think, even though it was close, that one was pretty clear.
Well, Germany lead the way through Leon Schaefer. Here comes the second German in the field, Ali Lassine. He set himself a championship record. And I'll tell you why it was a championship record, because Ali Lassine is actually a T61 athlete. The rest are T63s. So he has set himself a championship record of Ntendo Malango, which was 582 from Dubai in 2019. It's now 608 from Ali Lassine. He's in 7th position overall. This is being run as a T63 competition, but Ali Lassine is a T61. He's the only one in the field, so that means he has a championship record in the T61 category.
Now, Ntendo Malango is not here, but I can tell you where he is, and that is in the middle of England. Yes, I was buying groceries one day, and I happened to see someone coming out of the grocery store, and I thought, my goodness, that person looks a lot like Malango. And he also happens to have 2 prosthetic legs. What are the chances? And it was him. He is now training at Loughborough University, and I don't know what his plans are for the summer, but I do hope they involve Paris 2024.
Well, there's a bit of breaking news, isn't it? Talking of South Africa, here's Mbote. His 3rd and final jump. He's on the cusp at the moment. He's in 8th position. And he should go through, regardless of what happens here. But never say never. So Mabote has got the crowd on side. He's looking for something a bit more than that 6:03 mark. And he's got nothing for it, because that is a red flag, overstepping the mark. So 2 fouls in a row. But Mabote should be through to the final 3 jumps. Well, I'm still having a chuckle about that Joel de Jong jump a moment or two ago, because up he went in the air, and he had that horrible moment where he thought, I'm in trouble here and I might land on my face. And he managed to get himself back into a position where he landed successfully and came up with a decent length of jump as well.
I can confirm every long jumper, bladed jumper, able-bodied jumper, at some point has eaten sand and has experienced sand in their nose, in their ears.
And other orifices.
I was going to say that and I left it, but I'm glad you finished it.
So Benkador with what will be his final jump.
Winning Javelin F34 final, now the circle is
4:15 with his opener, 4:08 with his next, and 4:20. So he has improved with his final jump. It's a 4.62 at best. 4.20 isn't going to be enough to see him through to the final 3 rounds. This man is definitely through. The reigning champion, setting that world record last year in Paris. Leon Schaefer, 6.84 with his second jump. He's got plenty left in him.
Currently on the 5th spot.
Well, he's jumped back from the board, but he's jumped, well, that looks to me over the 7-metre mark. Now, we're in a bit of an awkward position when we look at that there, but I think he might be over that 7-metre mark then. And was 6.84 with his last, and he's lost a bit here before the board as well.
You can actually, you could hear that crack. That is the sound of power being put down through that blade. And it's important to remember, these blades are only going to return the energy you put into them.
Well, his energy's been returned there, 7.03, so he's gone over that magic 7-metre mark. He's extended his lead with that season best, and he's improving with every jump, which isn't great news for those behind him. So De Jong, you can see there, is in second position, and Yamamoto of Japan, who's an ambassador for these games in Kobe, season best for him in third of 6.48 thus far. Here's the last man to go in the third round. It is Kondo Hajime of Japan. He's in sixth position with a lifetime best in his second jump of 6.18. Well, you heard the board get hit there, so he made it onto it nicely. Well, the crowd enjoyed it as well. He gave a bit of a wry smile and look at it, but I think that's a decent enough mark, that one.
It is quite special to come out. I mean, we know we talk a lot about medals, but actually coming out and getting a personal best, a lifetime best at a meet in your home country, this is a big deal. And he's sitting in sixth right now. He's going to get himself 3 more jumps. The thing is, if you're feeling good and you are in the groove, he really has the opportunity now to let loose in those final 3 attempts.
Just quickly, how did it feel jumping in front of a home crowd?
It's amazing. It's funny, people think that maybe it's going to be a little bit scary, but actually having in London 2012 a crowd of 80,000 people behind you is something I'll never forget. I genuinely wish everybody could know what that feels like.
Well, that's how it stands after 3 rounds. Leon Schaefer with that season best at the top of the pile. De Jong in second. Yamamoto in third place. Freck, Umbayamba and Kondo. And Lassine in seventh. And Mabote with that African record will round out that top 8. Inagaki, Inafantis, Kumpong and Benkador will miss out. And confirmation of that men's 400 metres T53 final. Pierre Fairbank taking the gold. Yu of Korea in second position. And Kalipi with a bronze medal for him. And the opening heat of the men's 400 metres T54. Samuel Carter, Nathan Maguire and Al Rajihi, who's going to have to go through that 5,000 metres exhaustion all over again. Pick up the top 3. Hu and Dai, Saichen Kongen and Cervantes go through as well. Cervantes Garcia and Zhang through as the fastest qualifiers.
Women's 100 meter T47 final.
So more to come on the track now. There's the women's 100 metres T47.
Representing Hungary, Luteran Petra.
Petra Luteran,
In lane 3,
who was 7th in the 400 metres
Overland
last year in
Ida
Paris.
Louise.
It goes in the 100 metres this time. Ada Louise Overland,
In lane 4,
20-year-old, her first major
Serbia,
championship. Saska
Sokolov
Sokolov, who was 4th last year, just missing out. She won silver in the shot put and the 200
In
last year in
lane 5,
Paris.
representing
Anna
New
Grimaldi,
Zealand,
who picked up bronze there, looking for more now. She's
Anna.
also a double Paralympic champion in the long jump.
In
Going
lane
here
6,
in the 100 metres.
Brazil,
19-year-old, his
Augusto
first major
da Silva,
championship.
Maria
That is
Clara.
Maria Augusto da Silva.
In lane 7,
And Chiara Rodriguez, she's the
Ecuador,
reigning champion.
Rodriguez Clara.
She's also the Parapan American Games champion. And Jules
In
Ross
lane
of
8,
Germany,
representing
17 years of
Germany,
age,
Ross
first major
Schubert.
championship, lifetime best in that semi-final. And Suji
In
Sai
lane 9,
of
representing
Japan, wait for this one.
Suji Sai.
5th in the 400 metres last year
Women's
in Paris for
100
Suji
meter
Sai.
T47 final starts now.
So Chiara Rodriguez
On your
of
mark.
Ecuador, the reigning champion going in this. Just watch out though for Anna Grimaldi. Double Paralympic long jump champion. Bronze last year. And looked ever so good in her semi-final. Did the New Zealander.
Fed.
Rodriguez is 7, got away quick, and she's really blasted out of those blocks. Grimaldi's doing her best to keep up with her. Rodriguez out in front, and inside Grimaldi it's Sokolov. Sokolov in second place. It's going to be Rodriguez who takes it. Sokolov second, and Grimaldi has picked up the bronze medal yet again into a slight headwind. It's Sokolov who picked up the silver, but it was Chiara Rodriguez out in front who's defended her title and defended it with quite some ease in the end. She got out to an absolute flyer from the blocks. I was watching her. Grimaldi with a bronze again for her, as she did last year in Paris. And that lady, as she did last year, picks up the gold medal yet again. Just watch her in third from the left-hand side of the screen there. Rodriguez in the all-black trunks and top. Straight down there by 5 or 6 metres. Sokolov has done ever so well to hold off the challenge of Grimaldi and pick up a silver medal after finishing 4th last year in Paris. This lady here knows all about gold, though, does Chiara Rodriguez. She's picked it up yet again and takes the title to add to the one she picked up last year in Paris for the Ecuadorian. Sokolov with the silver of Serbia, and New Zealand's Grimaldi 12.72 holds off Augusto da Silva to pick up another bronze medal. 2 years in a row at World Championships for Grimaldi. 2 years in a row for that lady, Chiara Rodriguez, as well. So back to the long jump we go. Away from the track. That is the T63, and there's not much movement in that windsock I saw a moment or two ago. They're just getting themselves organised, and they'll just re-split themselves from number 8 up to number 1 in qualifying. That man there will go last of all, Leon Schaefer. He's enjoying himself, isn't he? So is De Jong. They're having a good old time, but it's a great thing about athletics, whether it be para or whether it be able-bodied. Majority of the time, you'd say 99% of the time, people are certainly rivals. Some don't get on with each other, but most do. It's great to see.
Obviously, when you're in the competition, everyone wants to win, and that's what everyone expects. But at the same time, outside of that, the people you're competing with are the only other people in the world who genuinely know what it's like to be in that position.
That's the 7:03 season best jump for Leon Schaefer, by the way. That was his 3rd effort. He makes it look very easy.
You know that it's a good jump when you just have that moment where it looks like gravity is not acting on him. You get that hang time, and that hang time is the product of huge amounts of power put into that board.
Well, as I said, Schaefer will be the last of those 8 to go once we do get going. Lots more to look forward to. Women's shot put F20 to look forward to as well. This is the intellectual category. That's Sabrina Fortune there. Sabrina's the World Championship and Championship record holder. She's also the defending champion from last time out in Paris, and also 2019 she won in Dubai, and she took European gold in Berlin back in 2018. So that one just inside the quadrant. Just inside indeed. It's a world record of 14.56 that she's thrown for Sabrina Fortune. So she's in a very, very strong position. She's broken her own world record that she set in Dubai, winning in 2019. It was 13.91 on that occasion. It's now up to 14.56. That is quite an incredible amount of distance she's made up. Well, from the shot put, back to the long jump. And Ali Lassine. So I can tell you, Mbate has just gone with his 4th, finishing in 8th place, and he's fouled with his 4th attempt. So no difference for him. Lassine, the T61 jumper. Well, that's nice. It's out around the 6.5 metre mark.
And the sound on that runway was fantastic, because you can often hear visually whether or not it's a good run-up. And just from the pattern of that, you can see how, as he got closer and closer to that board, those steps quickened up.
Well,
exactly how you want to deliver a strong runway.
He set a championship record of 6:08 with his second one. He has absolutely obliterated that. It's now 6:39. He's added 31 centimetres to that championship record. He, of course, is, if you're wondering, he's in the T61 category. He's the only T61 in this T63 final, and despite being then in 5th position, you'll see championship record next to his name, being a T61 athlete. Next up is the women's 100 metres T38 final. This is the penultimate final on the track of the evening. Sophie Hahn holds the world and championship record. Sophie not here at these championships. But we do have a high-class field indeed, including the reigning champion, Darian Jimenez of Colombia, who also took silver over 200 metres. And Luca Eckler, who you see in lane 5, took silver in the 100 metres and gold in the 200 metres in Paris. So a bit of a rivalry there amongst those two. Eckler winning the 400 metres as well. So she picked up a couple of golds and a silver, the lady on the right of the screen there. Right next to Darian Jimenez. It's a strong field, and this promises to be a fast race. It's also got Karen Palameke, who was a T37 last year, winning the T37 100. This year she's being reclassified as a T38. Lin Yao of Germany. She won the gold medal at the Paralympic Games in 2020 and took bronze in the 100 metres. Chen of China, gold in the 400 metres at the Asian Para Games last year. Karen Palameke, as I just said, T37 champion in the 100 metres last year. This year she's in the T38. This is the least of the coordination impairment categories. Luca Eckler, a double, winning gold in the 200 and 400 last year. She won silver in this event because that lady there, Darian Jimenez, took the gold medal in that one and took the silver medal in 2020, the Paralympic Games. Ella Pardy, she's ready to go. She was 5th last year. She's also a bronze medalist in Rio in 4x100 relay in 2016. Ali Smith didn't start the 23 final last year in Paris.
United States of America.
And Katerina Guimaraes, 20 years of age and her first major championships, a lifetime best set in qualifying for this final.
38 final starts now.
So 8 to go in this one.
On your mark.
Those two to look out for, first and second in last year's final in Paris. That lady picked up the silver. She won gold in the 200 and 400, did Luca Ekla of Hungary. She's quite some athlete, as is Jimenez on the left of screen, on the right of Ekla, as she'll be looking at it. Jimenez winning the 100 metres and taking silver to Ekla in that 200. So looking out for lanes 5 and 6, but there could well be a shock in store if the others can lift their game. Well, they get away the first time of asking really quickly. It was Chen of China who blasted away, and also Palameke is looking good. But here comes Ekla through in lane 4. It's Ekla who looks like he's going to take it from Palameke. It is Ekla who does take it from Palameke. Jimenez looks like she's picked up the bronze there in 3rd position. Just wait for that one. But Ekla, after picking up silver last year, this time in a season best 12:85, has picked up the win in Kobe in 2024. Well, she's thrilled. It was a really quick start by Chen in lane 3 of China, but Ekla coming through the middle with Palameke as well. Palameke, a T37 gold medalist last year, this year T38, and it is Jimenez who takes the 3rd position. On the line, not much in it. Palameke pushing Ekla all the way. Look at the joy there for Luca Ekla. She won that 200 and 400 metre gold last year. She missed out in the 100. She's got that this time around. Season best also for Palameke at 12:88. And 13:10 for Jimenez in 3rd position with the bronze. What a race that was. Very enjoyable indeed. Such speed, such athletes, such rivalry in that one as well. And talking of athletes, Yamamoto. He's in 4th position currently, season best. Umbayama, who had a bit of a slow start, is up in 3rd position, and Yamamoto has been displaced because Umbayama, with his last jump, lifetime best 665, displacing this man, Yamamoto Achi, who's now in 4th position. So he's got a bit of space to make up. He's 17 centimetres behind in 3rd place of Umbayama, and the crowd will get behind. Let's have a listen to this. Well, I think that was tight at best. I think they'll probably have a look at it. Just waiting. I love his jumping style. This is tight. Oh, that's going to be a red flag.
Again, the rule is if it crosses the plane, but as you said, we have had some movement in this field. Umbayama setting a personal best, a lifetime best in the 4th round. Unfortunately, not quite to the delight of the home crowd, where it moved Yamamoto down into 4th, but they're very polite and they clap nonetheless.
Yeah, been confirmed as a foul jump that for Yamamoto. So we have just De Jong and Schaefer left to go in their 4th attempts. This young man, 22 years of age, at 682 for his opener, which is his best jump thus far. His last one was very interesting. Well, that is big. He looked good on the board. You can hear him clatter off it. He likes it, and you can always tell when the athlete comes out the pit, they know exactly what they've done. Schaefer looks on. I'm sure he'll be inside thinking, what on earth is this young man doing? But it's a really good jump. Great technique.
You can see there was a moment there where it almost looked like it was going to go the way of Superman, but he learned from that last jump. Your body has that muscle memory, and that time he was able to channel that power and hang on to it right to the end. That was a fantastic jump, and you could see Schaefer looking on with interest. And interestingly, De Jong's personal best happens to be exactly the mark Schaefer jumped.
Well, I'll tell you why he was looking on. Schaefer is 7:03. He's just jumped 7:02, De Jong. There is 1 centimetre in it. Season best for both, but they are separated by a mere centimetre. So the pressure now comes on Leon Schaefer. He does still lead, and there's scoreboard pressure there for him. But he's going to want to extend that advantage, is Leon Schaefer of 7:03 as he sets up for jump number 4. Well, he didn't even hit the board, I don't think, then. But he's got out near that 7-metre mark.
It was a good jump, and Schaefer is so strong. His personal best all the way out at 7:25, but he knows that De Jong is also jumping very well. He knows he is not safe, and he would certainly like to add a little bit of more buffer.
Well, it's not going to be better than his previous jump of 7:03. It's amazing when that pressure comes on, you sometimes get the twitches, don't you, because you're looking over your shoulder at what's coming at 6:92. So no improvement. He does stay in first position, though, by that barest of margins of 1 centimetre.
Sometimes you do get the twitches, but sometimes that pressure, that adrenaline, that is exactly the thing that you need to move into new territory. A few athletes have asked me, how do you get rid of the nerves? And I think you don't want to get rid of the nerves. The nerves are awesome. That is your body preparing to deliver something big.
Well, Mbote has had a jump of legally at 6:03, and he's only had 3 fouls. So what can he do this time? Well, he's around the 6-metre mark, if that's a legal jump, which it is. It's been given the white flag. He's had 1 jump so far, and he's broken the African record.
There's so much potential in Mbote's jumping. You can still tell it's a relatively new event for him. It's still quite raw. And you can see that he's just working out. He's a lot of speed behind him. He's an excellent 100-metre runner, but that is a different skill that you have to develop in terms of managing it off that takeoff board.
Yeah, it's a 5.90, so he doesn't move from where he is in 8th position. He does stay there at 6:03. There's Umbayama in 3rd position. Ali Lassine, championship record in the T61 category of 6:39. It was 6:08, and he obliterated it in the last jump. 31 centimetres further. What's he got this time? Well, he's got a nice glide through the air there, but you can just see that he's just dragged his left leg as he's gone through, so he lost a good few centimetres.
For the double blade runners, sometimes you'll see that they have a runway that is longer than a single blade runner, and that's because it can take them a little bit more time to get up to speed. But it's so impressive. I think I said it before, there's 2 really important steps in the long jump. You have your penultimate step, which is just before, and your takeoff, and everyone focuses on that takeoff step, but actually it's the penultimate that sets up the jump, and having to do that on a blade where you don't have proprioception and you don't have the balance of the feel, it's incredibly difficult.
We're just wondering why there's been a bit of silence here and we're getting ready for Kondo. It's because I put a blanket around me. I'm cold.
Don't worry, I took a picture and it will obviously be on social media.
Yeah, follow Steph Reed and you'll see a picture of me with a blanket around me. Looking charming. This man's hoping to charm the crowd. Kondo Hajime. Looking to get going. Yeah, it's around the 6 metre mark. It's probably just under. .618, that lifetime best with his second. He's in 7th position at the moment. He's been consistent. He hasn't fouled once. That's a 5.96 for Ali Lassine earlier. And that one there's a 5.84 for Kondo. So he doesn't move. Consistently hitting the mark. Now Schaefer's seen double Dutch behind him because he's got De Jong and he's got this man, Umbayamba. And you just sense that if Umbayamba gets everything right, that he has got the capabilities of pushing up towards that 7 metre mark. Just saw Yamamoto watching on then. He certainly doesn't want to see this man pushing up towards the 7 metre mark because he's trying to catch him from 4th position. Well, he is up near that 7 metre mark, just shy of it, mind.
He has had to work hard in this competition. He was in that awful position of having 2 fouls, and it seems to really have focused him. He came back with a 6.37, got himself another 3 jumps, and then in his next jump, set a new PB, a new lifetime best of 6.65, and that one looked around the same territory.
Yeah, I love that slow motion camera shot. Wonderful work by our cameramen and women. 6.61, so he's 4 centimetres down on his last attempt. So Yamamoto will be thinking to himself, right, I've got this. 18 centimetres, and I go past him. Schaefer pensive. De Jong having a drink. Ezra Frank in 5th is also pushing up towards those medal positions. So here goes Ezra. Oh, that looked like it was over the mark. It is. It's a red flag.
It's so interesting to watch the different ways that the athletes will build to speed. The difference in a long jump runway versus 100 meters. Obviously in both you need to have a lot of speed, but no one's timing that runway. And he starts so far back, he is almost in the pit on the opposite end.
Well, talking of the opposite end, we head across to the other side of the track. To the northeast corner, where the 200 meters T35 women's event, the final of the evening, is going to head out. And a decent enough field indeed. The reigning world and Paralympic champion and world record holder, just saw a moment or two ago, Zhu Jia will go in lane 6. You see the 2 Chinese athletes in their blue tops and black shorts. This is the coordination impairment category. At the top end of the coordination impairment, this T35. Isabel Forder of Germany, you saw on the inside there, 44 years of age and still kicking along and making it with these youngsters here. There is Zhu Jia, who won gold in 2016 in Rio, 2020 games in Tokyo. She also won gold last year in both Paris and the Worlds and the Asian Para Games as well.
200 meter T35 final. In lane 9, representing Poland,
Ingrid Renecka of Poland, 19 years of age. First major championship, wonderful experience for her and for this young lady here as well. Just 20 years of age, silver medalist last year behind her compatriot. Preeti Pal won her heat. First major championship for the 23-year-old Zhu Jia. We know all about her. She's the world record holder set in 2021 in Tokyo. Fatima Suwad, she was 4th just out of the medals last year, bronze at the Asian Para Games as well. You go to Kibil. European champion in Berlin back in 2018.
Representing Kazakhstan, Abel
Kazimitsky of Kazakhstan just scraped in as a qualifier. And Isabel Forder, she won silver back in 1996 in Atlanta and also in Sydney in 2000. She's been around for a while.
200-meter T35 final.
So much to the point
Starts now.
that 3 in this field
On your mark.
weren't even born. Make that 4. So Forder in 2, Abel Kazimitsky in 3, Kibble in 4, Seward in 5, Zhu in 6, Powell in 7, Gu in 8, and Renetska in lane 9 on the outside.
Set.
And they get away. And Zhu is got away very quick indeed as they come through that first 50. She's already moved up on the outside of Preeti Pal of India. Also doing well, Gu Kinjan, the 23-year-old who took silver last year. And it's Preeti Pal of India who's in 3rd position. But it's currently Zhu who has the lead. But she's being challenged by a compatriot, Gu of China. So it's a China 1-2 at the moment. India with Pal in 3rd position. And it is Zhu who takes it. Gu goes across in silver. And Preeti Pal of India picks up the bronze medal after moving through and winning her heat. 23 years of age. Season best though for that lady there. Taking the gold medal, 29.45. It is a China 1-2 yet again. Lifetime best for Gu, who's gone through in the silver medal position. And Pal of India. They're such a great nation when it comes to para-athletics, the Indians. Not just in the field events, but also on the track. And it's being proven here. Preeti Pal with a bronze medal for India. But it's China who reigns supreme again in the women's 200 metres T35. Ji Zhua, she's the world record holder. She's the world and Paralympic champion. And she just added another world championship gold to her bustling trophy cabinet. Led from start to finish. Gu takes the silver behind her again. And Preeti Pal of India, she'll be absolutely delighted to pick up that bronze medal. It'll mean so much, not just to her, but to the sport of para-athletics in India. Wonderful work by all 3 and all the athletes in that. 8 of them going, but only 3 can pick up the medals. Back to the long jump. It's Ali Lassine, the T61. He's currently in 6th position. This, his final jump, 6:39, his best to date, but that is the best it'll do because it's a red flag in his final jump of the evening. So we've one German at the top of the pile. We've one who's in 6th position in Ali Lassine. Schaefer at the top. Germany could still win a gold medal, but as it is, Lassine has to be content with a new championship record in the T61 category and 6th place.
Now, Jules de Jong passed on his 5th attempt. He didn't retire, he passed. And so it'll be interesting to see if that was a strategic move, maybe just to gather himself against a final attempt to find that extra centimeter to take over the lead. And actually, if he did jump 7:03 and tied, he would go into 1st, as his backup jump is stronger than any of Schaefer's backup jumps.
Well, Kondo Hajime is the next to go. After him, we'll have another 5 remaining jumps, or jumpers. So we started with 3 Japanese athletes in it. When we got down to the final 8, we only had 2. This man, Kondo Hajime, and Yamamoto Atsushi, who will be going a little bit later. He's in 4th position. This man here is in 7th with his final jump. And he's out near the 6-metre mark. His lifetime best with his 2nd of 6:18. You can't ask for much more than that. He seems to be happy as well.
It's possibly the first time this championships we've not had a tailwind on this runway, and that combined with the rain, I mean, imagine if we had those +2s from the previous 2 days. But considering the conditions, to come out and set a PB, that is a fantastic result for Kondo in front of his home crowd.
Yeah, it's a little bit chilly indeed, and I am looking on the positive side of things. The weather forecast does say that it is going to improve over the next couple of days. The rain is still coming down here, but we are due to get back to weather in the mid-20s. We do start those evening sessions at 5 o'clock local time just because it gets cold in the evenings. It was cold during the day today as well, so let's keep our fingers crossed for the next couple of days.
I was asking a few of the locals, and they said actually with the mountains, the weather can be a little bit variable.
Temperamental. It's a lovely place, Kobe, though. And they've been very hospitable towards us. And Kondo is being hospitable towards those who have been cheering him on. Just waiting for that final mark. You can see there was actually a slight headwind of minus 0.8 for Kondo. So the mark has come up for him. It is 5.94 for Kondo Hajime. So he finishes in 7th position. That man there will be hoping to finish a little bit higher than 4th where he is Yamamoto. But it's Umbayamba who moved into 3rd position after our positions had been set when we went down to the final 8, which means that Yamamoto will get a look at this and then he'll get a chance to go shortly afterwards. Here is Umbayamba in the bronze medal position. 6.65 is best so far, and that is pushing past 6.65, I'd say. He hit the pit and he almost took all the sand out of it with him.
What a fantastic final 3 jump from Umbayamba. We said he was in a tough position in round 3, 2 fouls to his name, and he has now set a lifetime best in round 4. Was there or thereabouts again in round 5, and once again that looked like an excellent jump. And even if it's not farther, that sort of consistency says that big things are still ahead for him. He's got consistency, all right. I can tell you it was 6.56. So after a bit of a shaky start, he went 6.37, 6.65, 6.61 and 6.56. So a good day at the office. It'll be even better if this man doesn't get past him, but he'll be doing his best, Yamamoto, as will Ezra Freck, who's next up. Freck, a high jump winner last year. He's going in the long jump at present. Well, that's a decent one as well. 6.41 is his best so far for Ezra. Get a glimpse there of that long runway and just the way that he generates speed with a sloping stride and then quickens that step in, and that was a good looking jump. He's known to be a big performer. He loves the pressure. It's too early to call. We don't have the best angle. We're not directly looking onto those numbers. Well, it's a nice warm-up for the high jump that comes up later in this competition for him anyway, so that second one was the one that put him in 5th position, and we just wait and we wait. Sometimes with the system it comes up rather quickly, and other times it just takes a bit of time, a bit like those computers when you get told to turn them off and turn them back on again to work. Sometimes that happens. He's waiting, trying to say hurry up, but you can't mess with technology. You've just got to let it run the course, and it's 6.58. So he has improved, and he's moved up into 4th position. He's just missed out by 7 centimetres from equaling Umbayamba up there. That means that Yamamoto, this man now, is down into 5th position, and he's got 2 people to contend with. It won't matter as far as the 2 goes. He still would have had to get at least 17 centimetres to match Umbayamba. So whether he finishes in 5th or 4th is superfluous to things at the moment. So Yamamoto
He might stand on the edge of greatness here if he can get himself up into that bronze medal position. The ambassador for these games has now got everyone in his corner as he goes in jump number 6. That won't be far enough. I think he knows it straight away. He thanks the crowd, appreciates all the support, and he's put up a fight until the last, has Yamamoto Atsushi.
In this one competition, he has added about half a meter to his season's best. You can tell he's so badly wanted to come out and put on a show for the audience. And to be fair, I love his jumping style. It is always a show when you're watching him jump. So congrats to him for... This is exactly what you want to see. PB, season's best, championship records, area records, and especially considering the conditions, what a fantastic competition we've had so far. And it's not done yet.
Well, he finished with a 6:24. Now we're at the very pointy end of this competition. 1 centimetre separates the man we just saw in the orange top, Joel de Jong, and Leon Schaefer. So de Jong, what can he come up with? Well, he's gone big and he's gone wide. So let's see, he's got the white flag, he likes it. Well, what a crescendo to this competition. The Orangi are on fire.
That was a huge jump, and I wonder if they're going to make us wait again. I swear they're doing it on purpose just to build the drama. But what an interesting strategy he took. Now, he missed, or he didn't miss, he chose to pass on attempt 2. He's passed on attempt 5. Obviously, he's taking attempt 6 because he feels like he can get there, and that jump was huge. You can tell by the speed on the runway. You can tell by the height just from that camera angle. He's liking it, and he even cracked a small smile from Schaefer, who also knows that was big.
He was looking across to the side as he landed. He liked it. He looked. We wait to see what happens. That man waits. Leon Schaefer, the reigning champion, the world record holder, the championship record holder. There's deathly silence as we all wait to see what has come up. Well, I think that tells you he's moved ahead by 1 centimetre ahead of Leon Schaefer. He was 1 centimetre behind with his 4th attempt of 7:02. He's now moved to 7:04. Here's leapfrog Schaefer, who has the last jump of this competition to try and claw his way back into the gold medal position. Leon Schaefer of Germany has to move ahead of Joel de Jong, who watches on. He's thrilled, but I bet inside his stomach is absolutely churning as he watches Leon Schaefer with his final attempt. He's even clapping on. Here we go. Stand by your beds. Oh, that is huge! Schaefer, with his very last jump, the last jump of the competition, has surely gone past the 7:04 that Joel de Jong has just created a moment or two ago. We looked at the board, we looked to see where he was. There's handshakes already. De Jong knows that he's been beaten with the final jump by the man who won it last year, setting the world record in Paris. He's gone past the mark of Joel de Jong. We just wait to see how far it is. I can tell you, it's 7:22. Well, he's 3 centimetres short of that world and championship record he set last year. Well, oh my, that is absolutely stunning to finish this competition. What a way to end the evening of para-athletics. What a way to end this long jump competition. It's been absolutely fantastic as we've gone through. De Jong took the way of dropping a couple of jumps to try and save himself for the end. And then we saw this from Leon Schaefer. 7:22. He's got miles ahead in the end. But that is absolutely huge. It's almost like he was saving himself for something big at the end. The pressure's come on, and this man has answered it in spades. Leon Schaefer, he is the world champion for the second time in a row. After Paris last year, he's now won it in Kobe in 2024.
I mean, that was absolutely wild. You would think we were watching reality TV and somebody had produced this to perfection. You end up with Joel de Jong just 1 centimeter down on his final attempt. He comes and he produces 1 centimeter more than Schaefer. And then Schaefer standing on the runway, knowing he has to deliver. He had a camera directly in his face and he was smiling. He was loving it. He wanted to show what he could do under pressure, and he delivered. 7:22. What an unbelievable way to end this night. Even the rain adding the additional drama.
Well, what an incredible evening. What a way to finish it. Absolutely unbelievable. Para-athletics, the sport that just keeps on giving. Well, the results in the women's javelin throw F34. Julie Yan with a championship record taking it there. Zhu Kaiyan of China in second with a season best. And El Kassoui of Morocco picking up the bronze medal. Also setting a new African record with third place, 15:71 for the Moroccan. Her lifetime best was 15:24 coming into this. She finished 7th last year in Paris. She's now a bronze medalist this time around. Now Zhu with that season best, 18:24 her lifetime best. This though, 17:75, enough for her to pick up the silver medal in the women's javelin throw seeded category F34. But Zhu Liuan has done it again, a championship record. She held it originally at 20.67. She set in London in 2017. She's moved it up to 21.22, and you can make that 8 World Championship golds to add to her 4 Paralympic Games golds as well. Quite incredible. She just doesn't know anything but the colour of gold. So Zhu with the gold, Lian, that is, Zhu Kaiyan with a silver, and Fuzia El Kassoui with an African record picking up a bronze in the women's javelin throw F34. Men's discus throw F52 also seated. Roca, who took the gold medal, Sandor with a silver, and De Santos Espinova of Mexico picks up the bronze medal. We saw him a little bit earlier in a good position and using that pole to balance himself. Has thrown the mark of 16:32. He actually does throw another couple of meters further than that, but conditions in here in the Universiade Memorial Stadium quite difficult with the rain coming down. To try and get a grip on that discus can be problematic. Sandor, 16:92, the Croatian. He was 4th last year, so he's lifted himself up into the medal positions, and someone who knows about medal positions, Andre Roca, 20.72. He is the world and championship record holder. Those being set back in London in 2017 at the Worlds then, and he's claimed yet another medal. Oh yeah, he likes it. So gold for Roca of Brazil. They picked up another one. They're doing well. Sandor of Croatia with the silver, and De Santos Espinosa of Mexico with the bronze medal. Season best for Skukas and Hrib in 4th and 5th. Men's high jump, T47, Roderick Townsend, he's done it again. 2:05, he's equalled his season best. Claims the gold yet again, 2 years in a row. Kumar with the silver, and Georgi Margiev, 196, the neutral para-athlete. And here is Margiev with that lifetime best of 196. Yeah, coming into this, it was 194. So he's lifted himself another couple of centimetres up on his personal scale of achievements. Nishit Kumar, he won silver last year. He won silver in Tokyo in 2020. He's picked up a silver yet again, a season best of 199 for him. 189 it was this season before that. He's a 209 jumper at best as he builds towards later in the year in Paris. And this man, it's 2 titles in a row. He's equalled his season best. He pulled out of the long jump last night. We were a bit concerned he may have had an injury, but he was saving himself for this particularly. And Roderick Townsend, he's the world and championship record holder he set last year, which was 2:16. This time he's gone out to 2:05. But he is the world champion yet again. Townsend takes gold, Kumar with the silver, and Margiev with the bronze medal. Season bests and personal bests all round. Women's shot put, F20. Sabrina Fortune with a world record that we saw, 14:73. Mendez Sanchez, season best in second. And Zatsieva, the neutral, picking up the bronze medal in the women's shot put, F20. Alexandra Zatsieva, 13:31, her lifetime best. She's gone with 13:01 in this one. It proved to be enough in the end. Wasn't in Paris last year. Is certainly in Kobe this year. And picks up the bronze medal. Well, this lady was in Paris last year. She picked up a silver then. Mendez Sanchez. She is the world record holder of 14:39. She set that back at the Tokyo Paralympics in 2021. She didn't get anywhere near that one today. But this lady, well, she certainly did. She broke that world record. She extended it from Mendez Sanchez, had it at 14:39. Sabrina Fortune has lifted it up to 14.73. World Championship and championship record holder now. And she is the world champion. Mendez may be the Paralympic champion. That may change later in the year if this lady's got anything to do with it. She is absolutely thrilled. The Brit, Sabrina Fortune, 14:73. She's off into the crowd to celebrate. Tears of joy. That is wonderful to see. All the hard work, all the effort that goes into it. The T20, the intellectual category, and that is a wonderful thing to see for Sabrina Fortune. World record, taking the gold. Mendez Sanchez, season best with the silver. And Zatseva picks up the bronze medal. Asian record for Hori Reina of Japan as well. Season best for Padilla. Women's 100 metres T47, confirmation of that final. Chiara Rodriguez defending her title in a season best time of 12:27. Sokolov picks up the silver, and Anna Grimaldi, for the second year in a row at World Championships, takes the bronze medal. Luca Eckler, she reversed the result from last year. She was silver last year. She's picked up the gold medal this time around. Palameke, who was T37 winner last year, T38 now takes the silver. And Jimenez, who won the gold last year, this time has to settle for the bronze. Women's 200 metres T35, Zhu Jia, she's done it again in the season best. Gu has picked up the silver medal, and Preeti Pal of India, wonderful run in third place, taking the bronze medal in the women's 200 metres T35. For Zhu, though, she is the world record holder. She's extended it, and everything else yet again with another gold medal. There's the winner, though, in the last event of the evening. It took a while. The rain has started to come down even heavier after that men's long jump T63 final. Leon Schaefer, who won it. Third place you saw on the right of screen then in Umbayumba. And it came down to the last. Joel de Jong, he had it. He was a centimetre ahead, but he lost it at the end. Here is Noah Umbayumba with a lifetime best of 6.65 to take the bronze medal. He lifted himself into that position with a couple of jumps remaining. He just couldn't get out any further after this one, but it was enough to secure himself a bronze medal after finishing 6th last year in Paris. Well, this man here, he picked up the bronze medal last year. He thought he was heading for gold. This jump here lifted him with a lifetime best up to 7.04. At this stage, Schaefer was 7.03. De Jong had been 7.02. He was a centimetre behind. He then, with this jump, went a centimetre ahead into the gold medal position. And there was only one thing that could be done. Leon Schaefer would have to break that mark. And break it, he did. You always worry when athletes are in this position whether they're going to overstep the mark and just push the boundaries too far. Schaefer, well, just sit back and have a watch of this. Pictures tell 1,000 words, and they also told a story of 7.22 for Leon Schaefer. A quite phenomenal jump under extreme pressure. Make no bones about it. It's the last jump of the competition. You are the defending champion. You are the world and championship record holder. And you have this to get ahead of your rival and retain the gold medal. And he did it in a quite spectacular way, did Leon Schaefer. He celebrates winning the men's long jump T63 competition. Now it's time for the interviews and the glory that goes with it. Left of screen, de Jong. He's all happy with the silver. And Mayamba, also of the Dutch, picks up the bronze medal. So it's double Dutch behind the Germans. Well, it's been a day of medals. 19 golds in total. There have been world records again and championship records, season bests and lifetime bests. The rain hasn't put anyone off. We've had a spectacular day. It's 3 days down. There are 6 to go. There will be many, many more days to come. The weather will improve, trust me. The rain will go away and stay away, we hope. The sun will come out, just like Incy Wincy Spider said it would. From me, Tolson Toller and Steph Free, Will Downing will be back with us in the coming days. Till then, bye for now.